What's wrong? I'll see ya. He's like, Dad's streaming, I'm out. Drink that. Drink that. I can finally pack this in. It's been a long. I heard the nah from here. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm really done with it. Don't worry. And then I can stop streaming. Huh? Oh. Oh shit, that was me in the other room. Forgot to turn me down. I got to turn me down. It's probably like, I just realized it probably looks like real crusty as fuck. How, I tried to zoom in the webcam, but it looks, I don't know how, like, it probably looks like it was 1080, like, 480p. I saw you in there, Ghost Body. Hey, Moomin. Can you hear the music, Moomin? So I don't like streaming. I want to stop streaming. Yeah, of course. No, I literally said I want to pack. Like, I'm excited to pack it in after this day because I'm tired. Don't take it out of context. You hear it? Okay. No, can I say, out of all the streams that I wanted to do, this is the one I'm the most excited for because I've not read the book yet. So this for me is a big thing. No, I'm just ready to pack it in. I'm really tired. I'm really tired. And I wasn't going to do webcam, but I thought it'd be good because then I could actually show you that I actually do own the book. I thought you'd done a DSP. No. 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 Thanks for thinking so low of me, though. No, I love streaming. I genuinely do. But I'm just like, I'm ready to stop streaming every day. I'm ready. So, just to clarify. Yeah, I know the mic was on during the waiting screen. That's why. I know. It was a bit. Okay. I feel like sometimes my jokes land, and then sometimes they're like, whoop. Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant. It was like, yeah, it was. I was meant to be like, yeah, it's like I'm ready to pack it in. Didn't think it'd be part of the shape. No, that's not. Oh my god, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. Yes, I hate all my fans. Clip that. Yeah. Yeah. Watch Wolfie. Wolfie's frothing at the bit now. Wolfie's like, I'm gonna fucking clip it. Watch this. And he looks over at his fucking partner and he's like, oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh no, the alpha dog. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, all right, Wolfie, calm down. That's what Wolfie's like. My partner looked at me and was like, is that what Wolfie's like? And I was like, yeah, that's what Wolfie's like. You didn't say anything. You just gave me a look. You just shot me a look. No, it fucking isn't, you bitch. Whoa, hey, ban yourself. Today, we're gonna... Can I see? I don't know. Why? Yeah, I'll check. Hang on. Yes, you can see the door. This here, that's the door. So you're gonna have to crawl. So don't... Oh my god. Can you not, like, show My wife's got no pants on. Can you not? Like, oh my god. Here comes incoming ban. Wolfie's frothing at the bit. There you go. Okay. Okay. Right. So. Gex. Graphic novel. I wanted to say, first of all, before we start, I do want to say legitimately, I have enjoyed every day, even though some days have been more tiring than other days. I am ready to stop though, because I'm really tired. Wait, my dog just sighed at me. I want to say particularly that it's been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. It's been really fun doing this every day. I've beaten a lot of games. I've done a lot of cool stuff. We made a game which will be coming out next month. Terry's... Oh, I forgot what it was called. Terry's game. Terry Eats Us. That's it. Terry Eats Us. And yeah, tomorrow is actually my wedding anniversary. And that's why day 31 is not going to happen on day 31. So I'll need about a week or so before we do the bonus stream where you see my sexy Halloween outfit that y'all voted for. So, which I'm really not looking forward to doing. But, you know. But yes, I wanted to kind of say that and just say thank you to everybody. And, you know, for being here every day. It's not, you know, it's not easy. Do you think they won't see you? Do you think that they won't see, like, this fucking mound of Duna walking through the fucking door? That's the wrong site. It's the wrong site. Also, I will be going back to... My wife is You didn't see her. You literally did not see her. So you, like, I don't mean to be like an asshole, but you can't judge based on a Duna. No, Wolfie's like... Wolfie's this guy, like, he comes and he's like, oh, like, every woman's a queen. Oh, yeah. I saw her face. Okay. He says that as he's sitting next to his own wife. Okay. Oh, apparently Moomin sent me something. Looks like a comfy quilt blanket she's wrapped in. She is a queen, sir. Oh, they're all simping for you now. Alright. Let me check. Because Moomin sent me something. And then I want to talk about this novel. Sorry, I have to unlock my phone goes on like a thing. Oh. Oh, I like that. That's really cool. That's really cool. I love the hat. You like it? Fuck you and fuck off. That's great. I love it. Oh, thank you, Moomin. Thank you so much. That's great. Oh, that's so good. Alright, that's my new profile picture, I think. I'm gonna change my profile picture. It's rare I change my profile picture, so... And then I'll share it. But please post it in the fan art section too. I love that. Thank you so much. Did Wolfie send you the clip? Yes, from yesterday? Was it yesterday? No, the day before. I'll send you the actual video we shot because I did record it. Oh, I do. I love it. I love fan art. I think fan art, like, I'm a big fan of fan art, so. I think there goes the speaker. I think fan art is the sincerest form of flattery, so. Yeah, there goes my speaker. That's okay, though, because my sound system is not hooked up. I sent a clip and pulled up the VOD with mention of her in the script. Okay. All right, so I want to tell you about this novel first because there are a couple of fun facts. All right, and then we will actually read the novel together. Because I saw a wiki. Because there's apparently a Gex wiki. Now I could have just got the PDF and read it that way, but that's not fun when you've got the actual book. So let's see. It says Gex, and then in brackets it says Novelization is a novelization version of the Gex video game series. It was written by Michael Tetterbaum and published by Troll Communications in February 8th, 2000. The novel is largely written as a companion to the third game in the series, summarizing the events and scenarios of the game in a readable format. However, the first two chapters do summarize the events of the preceding game as well. So this book is technically a prequel to the first one. And then it says, is that? Oh, that synopsis is not on the site. It says, we go a long way back, Rez and I. Oh, and by the way, I'm Gex, short for Gecko Extraordinaire. And anyway, I've been fighting Rez for a long time. Since before I saw the report on the TV news telling me that Rez had kidnapped my beautiful partner, Agent Extra, and pulled me into the media dimension, I'm going to have to go back there to rescue her. The overall plot of the novel is the same as the games. However, it differs slightly in narration. The novel is told from the perspective of Gex as he details his exploits from the media dimension. Why did they repeat that twice? He follows providing a summary of the second game as well. However, curiously, Rez provides a different origin story than the one mentioned at the end of Enter the Gecko. He still claims Gex's previous deceased father, however, instead of his metallic appearance being the result of falling into a scrap heap. Okay. I don't know if there's any... Oh yeah, alright, trivia about this book. There's some trivia. Even though it's never been confirmed or denied, it can be inferred that this novel isn't canon. In the opening line, the author tries to imply that Gex's name is actually an acronym that stands for Gecko Extraordinaire. There's a mistake in the book that says that Mushu Pork is written wrong. So he's actually... Oh, I see. Okay. Use the name for the feature of the first game. In the retelling of Gex 1, the world's names used are the feature one in the first game. The army channel is called World War II. Okay. Okay, so there's like a couple of like mistakes in the book. The Gex Cave. The novel was the first... This is officially the final Gex product to officially been produced. And in 2002, this company called Troll was acquired by a private equity firm. And it implies that Gex's cave is located in the media dimension. Okay. So, I've also got music. And I'm going to play the music. And I'm going to try to, like, sync the music up. To where I think they need to, where it needs to be. I don't, like, it's not a very long book. It's a very short book. But I figured they're going to mention a couple of places, but we'll, I don't know if there's like, I was going a few years back. Okay. All right, I've got music ready to accompany. So let me just grab open link tab. By the way, how fitting? Yeah. How's everyone doing, by the way? How are you all doing today? I don't know if I want you licking my leg, Crash. I don't know if I want that, bro. Okay, mere dimension. Get him, Crash. No! Don't encourage my dog. Alright. Are you set? You're sitting back. Here we go. Alright. So this Gex, it just says Gex. It doesn't even, it uses the graphic from the second game on the cover. And it says on the back, it's tail time, and then it says he's hip green and a master of disguise. I don't know about that. Meet Gex as he leaps out of the video game screen and into the pages of his very own book. In this exciting story, Gex journeys to the media dimension to battle his arch enemy Rez. So grab your remote and let the adventure begin. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Here we go. Alright. And let me know if you can't hear anything or if you need me to adjust anything. Just tell me. I'll move some shit out the way. I apologize. There's a lot of shit in the way. This is going to be a train wreck. I think it will be, yeah. Okay. We go a long way back, Rez and I. Oh, by the way, I'm Gex, short for Gecko Extraordinaire. Anyway, I've been fighting Rez for a long time. Since way before I saw the report on the TV news. On the TV news? See the report on the TV news? Telling me that Rez had kidnapped my beautiful partner, Agent Extra, and pulled her into the media dimension. I'm going to have to go back there to rescue her. But I get ahead of myself. This'll be my third trip into the media dimension. I just barely survived the first 2 tours, and now I've got to go back in. It's gonna be deja ouch all over again. Good thing I've got my James Bond super spy tux, because believe me, in the media dimension, I get both shaken and stirred. But again, I get ahead of myself. I guess the best thing would be for me to start at the beginning. A long time ago, in a dimension far, far away. It's like in quotations. Luke, I am your gecko. What is this? Is terrible. Wrong story. Take 2. It all began a few years back. I was living a good life in Hawaii, like any self-respecting gecko. My mum took care of my brothers and sisters and me. My dad was doing research for NASA. You might say he was a regular space lizard, blasting off in rockets to test the effects of living in space. As for me, my days were filled with beach parties with my friends, surfing the big waves and playing the ukulele. Not a bad gig, huh? I was living the carefree life, happy as a gecko could be. And that's when it happened. My dad, along with 10 other brave souls, had volunteered an important NASA test mission to see if it was possible to eat tapioca pudding in zero gravity of space. I'll never forget the day Mum got the phone call from NASA. The rocket containing Dad and the other volunteers. Mum, the rocket containing Dad and the other volunteers had exploded on the launch pad. What's this book? There were no survivors, just gallons of burnt tapioca. This isn't real. This is not real. This is so good. This is so good. Oh, shit. Is it weird for Gex to have a human partner? Nah. I don't think at that stage it wasn't. Oh, God. Oh, God. Ooh. We're only on page 4 and it's already killed me. My family... Sorry. How stupid. It's like, there's a plot is that his dad and 10 other people have died in a rocket with tapioca. Okay. My family was shattered and I've never been the same since. I closed down, bottling up my grief. I took comfort in the only thing that had always provided me with relief. TV. In my time of need, all my friends were there. Breakfast with the Ninja Turtles, lunch and a song with the Partridge Family, a quick bionic pick-me-up from the $6 Million Man, and dinner with Indiana Jones. My old pals were always ready to take my mind off my troubles. But my mum began to worry. Mothers are good at that kind of thing. And she started doing all kinds of weird stuff. What kind of sentence is that? First, she packed up the family and moved us from Hawaii to California. Mum called it a new beginning. Whatever. I could watch TV just as comfortably from a couch in Encino as from a club chair in Maui. Same old, same old. But then she really did it. I came down one morning ready to click on the tube and have breakfast with Bugs and Daffy when I noticed that something was missing from the living room. Not to mention my life. The TV! Mum had given the set away. Go catch some flies and walk up some walls. Anything a normal gecko does, she said. Just stop watching TV all the time. I was outraged. The one thing that had given me life and meaning was gone. Heartlessly torn from my home, and to think my mum was responsible. This is a lot of plot for, like, a game that did not have plot. Like, he's just meant to be lazy. I stormed out the front door, vowing that I would never set foot inside that TV-less house again. Mum chased after me, begging me to stay, but it was too late. My mind was made up. I was out of there. The next few months were a blur. I started hanging out with some local punks. We'd skateboard to the mall, and then hang out in the comic book shop until the manager of the joint kicked us out. I blasted music through my headphones and tuned out the world in a whole new way. I hated this place. I hated myself, and I missed my TV. During this time, I slept in my friend's garage and picked up some pocket money doing odd jobs around the neighborhood. My life had become one long aimless haze, and it seemed it would be that way forever. But once again, fate stepped in and shook up my world. Mum tracked me down with some amazing news. It seemed that my Uncle Charlie had died and left us a lot of money. And I mean, a lot of money. Overnight, we were rich. The members of my family all reacted differently to suddenly having tons of money. My... I can't say the next sentence. My mother bought NASA. Oh, you can't you? Oh. What a sentence. My mother bought NASA, fired everyone to get revenge. Take note, I've never read this book. I bought this book and put it straight at my camera. Every now and again, I pick it out and I read a quote from it, just to be funny. But I've actually never read it, so this is my first time reading it. My mother bought NASA, fired everyone to get revenge for my dad's death, then turned Mission Control into a theme restaurant. My brothers and sisters pulled their money and bought Australia. What is this book? As for me, well, I moved back to my beloved Hawaii and bought the biggest house in Maui. And then I filled it with... by the way, I'm being legit. Like, you can go read the file to see I'm not beefing the story. Bought the biggest house in Maui. Then I filled it with the world's largest TV set and enough food to last me for decades. I was fully prepared to spend the rest of my life doing exactly what I liked best, watching TV. But that fickle finger of fate pointed me in another direction once again. I was home one day flipping through the channels with my remote and munching on a big bowl full of flies. a gecko's favorite snack. A fly began buzzing around my head. I flicked my tongue and swallowed it. Nothing unusual about a gecko eating a fly, right? Only this was no ordinary fly. It was a radio transmitter that worked as a homing device. My remote control suddenly jammed. My giant TV screen went blank. Then, without warning, a huge hand reached out of the screen and grabbed me by my neck. And zap! Let me, hang on. Hang on. We gotta get the right music. Is this not gonna work? Where's my other one? Hang on. Because he's going in the other one now. He's in game 1. So we got to be law accurate. Oh, god damn it. I don't want to go to someone's has-been hotel fucking. Okay, now we're in the right one. Just like that, I was yanked through my TV into this bizarre and totally cool place known as the media dimension. You see, in the media dimension, TV rules. Now, you might think that sounds like the perfect place for a tube head like me, but what I failed to mention is that the cold and powerful claw that pulled me into this crazy dimension belonged to a guy named Rez. Rez ruled the media dimension. In fact, it was his ultimate plan to take control of all TV channels everywhere. Of course, I didn't know that at the time. All I knew was that he was a mean-looking dude. He had pulled me into the media dimension to bronze me and turn me into a new network mascot. I ran as fast as my 4 legs could take me, through a world of colorful shapes, platforms, mazes, catwalks, ramps, and levels. I was inside a world made of old TV shows. It might sound strange to you, but believe me, being there was about as strange as it gets. I raced along a ramp that seemed to narrow as I moved forward. Then I saw it. At the end of the ramp sat a TV. Something inside of me, maybe it was that transmitter, said to keep running. So I did. I ran right into that TV. Crash. I broke through the screen and was instantly transported to one of the many worlds that made up the media dimension. Alright, now I have to change the music again. And this is where it's going to get wacky, because we're going to cartoon world. We're skipping over... Have I bought the Gex collection? You know why I've not bought it? Because the book's not in it. You know, if they were really that good at being like, here's all the fucking great things about Gex, you know what? I'll buy that copy when it's fucking someone else is selling it. Like, I'm not. It's not happening. The TV acted as an exit from one world and a portal into another. I remember thinking, I'll have to keep that in mind. Cartoon world was like being trapped inside every cartoon I'd ever seen. And take my word for it, I've seen a million of them. I dashed down an ordinary-looking cartoon street. Suddenly, a huge safe plummeted from the top floor of a building and just missed my head. A cat and mouse superhero team raced over to me. They looked more like they were fighting to still fit into their costumes than they were getting ready to battle evil supervillains. They handed me a bouquet of flowers. It's the holy chrysanthemums, Batman! I shrieked. Then the two out-of-work, out-of-shape heroes leaped into their rodent mobile and zoomed away, which is when the bouquet of flowers exploded. My head spun around and around, and then came to rest facing backwards. I twisted it back to its forward position and continued on my way. I passed a payphone that was ringing. When I picked it up and said, "Hello?" a foot kicked me through the phone line. The kick knocked me right into another TV, transporting me into Graveyard World. Just waiting for the music. By the way, I hope you're enjoying this so far. Ever wondered what happens to old black and white monster movies? You know, movies like Frankenstein and Dracula meets the giant tomatoes from Jupiter. Well, they end up in Graveyard World. As I shuffled through a foggy graveyard at midnight, an army of walking zombies marched towards me. Talk about a bunch of stiffs. I scrambled up a nearby mausoleum using my suction cup feet and leaped over their heads. Do Sonic novels like this exist? Yeah. I've got like 3 or 4 of them. They're actually not that bad though. The Sonic novels, they're like, I mean, they're probably pretty bad. I wouldn't mind actually reading one. They're about this size as well. Only to land in front of a drooling, growling maniac wearing a hockey mask and wielding a large knife. Quarter pounder Swiss cheese and a hat trick there, buddy, I said as the mad slasher raised his knife and stepped towards me. I dove behind a headstone and crashed right into the TV, leading out of Graveyard World. Oh my god. This is like, I'm having to swap. Splash. I landed in a pot of steaming water. I was now in the middle of a cannibal feast in Jungle World. Usually when someone says, I like to have you for dinner, they don't mean you're going to be the main course. I jumped from the pot and took off through a thick jungle underbush. The cannibals chased me, poking their sharp spears at my heels. I took a right at a fallen log and found myself face to face with a ferocious tiger. Hi, I'm here for the Frosted Flakes interview, I said. He showed his teeth. The cannibals charged from behind me, and the tiger charged from the front. I looked up and saw a tree branch about 20 feet above me. Thwop! I shot my tongue into the air, wrapped it around the branch, and pulled myself up to safety. Or so I thought. What I did find up in that tree was, smash, you guessed it, another TV. Fucking hell, they're really like trying to get through the first game in this in this one chapter. They're trying to give you like a really good sum. This one led to Kung Fu World, where I was instantly surrounded by a team of 6 deadly ninjas. Will Chuck Norris please report to the front desk? I said, paging Jean-Claude Van Damme. The ninjas obviously weren't up on their kung fu movies. They began closing their circle tighter and tighter around me. Then an amazing thing happened. Something that would change my life, or at least save it countless times over the next few years. I instinctively whipped my tail at the ninjas in a move that I came to call my roundhouse tail attack. Whop, whop, boof. One by one, I polished off all 6 ninjas. Quite the weapon, Gexy old boy, I thought when the last ninja had dropped. That was when the 2 sumo wrestlers ran at me from opposite directions. I have 2 words for you guys. Should add that... Oh, okay. I have 2 words you guys should add to your vocabulary, I said. Salad bar. I knew that if I went to take one of the big boys out with my roundhouse tail attack, the other would crush me like a pancake. So, rather than whip my tail at one wrestler or the other, I split the difference and slammed it right in between them. This move, which I named the Tail Slam, really clever I know, but Goldberg's jackhammer was already copyrighted, sent shockwaves through the ground, tumbling both tubbies away. Of course, the shockwave also caused a TV to crash down on my head, sending me to... all this copyright infringement. I think they just sort of didn't give a shit when they wrote this. Rez's nerve center. Finally, I was face to face with the twisted, evil ruler of the media dimension in his home base. This was a world beyond insanity. Alien high-tech circuitry pulsed with waves of electric force. Energy flowed like liquid and cracked like static. At last, Gecko, I have you where I want you, snarled Rez. There was something strangely familiar about his voice, but I couldn't quite place it. Now you will become my new network mascot. I turned and stared at Rez. His metal body looked as if it had been thrown together by a boiler explosion. He had long pointy teeth of sharp metal, and his piercing yellow eyes burned with a sickly glow that felt as if it was searing right through me. Wires and tubes connected to the back of his head to his body, and the hood ornament on his skull ran from the back of his neck to his forehead. Lights flashed ominously from his head to his body. His hands ended in shiny gold claws, and flames leaped from his torso. I may have already mentioned that this was one mean-looking dude. Gex's universe so interesting. All the real is this the cut? This is dimension merge. It's multiverse before multiverse was a thing. I think this is multiverse before it was a thing. It's tail time, I shouted. Pretty good catchphrase, I thought. I'll have to remember to copyright that. I whipped my tail at him, but he was quick. He jumped up and avoided its powerful impact. Rez lunged at me. I shot my tongue to a conduit above and pulled myself out the way just in time. Rez sprung up and joined me on the thin wire 50 feet above the ground. That's when I saw the TV set I hoped would lead me out of the media dimension. Rez stood between me and freedom. I shot my tongue out in a move I came to call my gelatinous tongue lash. Fancier than tail slam, I know. A stream of green slime flew from my mouth and hit Rez square in his steel-belted chest, knocking him down from the conduit. I didn't know I could do that, I thought. Being in the media dimension gives me some interesting powers. David won, Goliath nothing, I yelled, as I raced along the conduit on my suction cup feet. I'm out of here. I dove into the TV and wham, I was free. I landed in my own living room. When I crashed on the floor, the transmitter fly popped out of my mouth and disappeared. I turned around and looked back at the screen of my huge TV. My favorite James Bond movie was playing. I picked up the remote, flopped onto the couch, and shoved a handful of flies into my mouth. All was right with the world. For the moment. It's so fucking awful. This is fucking awful. This is pretty bad. Yeah, this is like fan fiction before fan fiction existed, I think. It's definitely written from the perspective of somebody told this guy what the game was about in like small bursts for sure. How many chapters is there? There's 10 chapters. We're on chapter 2. Jesus Christ. Alright, so now I can change the music again. So we'll swap to what's this doing now? What's this doing now? Hang on a second, chat. Now this mouse isn't working. It is. It's kind of like Chris Chan wrote it, yeah. It does have that Chris Chan feel to it. Okay, so for some reason I can control the volume on my mouse. But I can't control the actual mouse. I had it for a second. Give me a second, chap. But how did you like chapter 1 so far? Was that good? That get your goat going? Wolfie made a Sonichu car in Crossworlds. You know you can leave him, Moomin. You don't have to stay with him. There are other men. Like, you're allowed to... Women are no longer oppressed. So you have a decision. Even if you think he's a bit slow. There are? Yeah, there's heaps. There's heaps to pick from. Lots of men that don't know about Chris Chan. I don't know why they cancelled the Gex movie. This story's awesome. It's something. I don't know about awesome. Hang on. I'm just trying to work out why my mouse isn't working. Give me a second. I think it's because there's like drives happening. There's like so much shit happening on my computer all at once. I had like a really weird dream last night too. I think like sleep is getting to me. No, that one's not working. We're permanently stuck on Gex boss music. If I had a life, I'd be glad to get back to it. There we go. Okay. So now we're in chapter 2. So take this time while I put the music on. Take a piss because it's probably gonna like. We're probably gonna dig deep. I wonder if it says here 2 peaceful years passed. I wonder if they did that. I wonder if that was literally like 2 years from the first game and the second game. I wonder if that's lore accurate. You know what? Just take your phone with you to the toilet. It's probably a good place to listen to Gex, the novelization. Alright. 2 peaceful years passed. I did nothing but sit in front of the tube and eat junk food and take comfort in the daily visits from my big screen buddies. I'd start my day with a cup of coffee and kung fu theater, followed by a donut and my favorite cartoons. Then came a bag of chips and a visit to Her Majesty's Secret Service. For 2 years I hardly budged, but then things got really interesting. One day, which started off like any other. Oh, and this is where I already have to change the music. Wolfie does time trials while listening to the stream. What, this stream? Wolfie, drive like shit. 2 big goons in black suits and sunglasses burst into my house. I told them right away the Men in Black sequel had already been cast, but they flashed their badges at me, saying that they'd worked for a secret government agency and they needed my help. It seemed that Rez was on the move again, trying to take over all of the TV channels in the world. They said that because I'd taken care of Rez once already, I was the perfect gecko for the job. They wanted me to go back into the media dimension and stop Rez again. I told them to buzz off. My favorite episode of I Love Lucy was coming on, and it was time for them to leave. Go find another guy to save the day, I said. That's when they whacked me over the head with a crowbar. That's not how it happened. He got given a shitload of money, and he accepted the money. You can see the cutscene in the fucking retcon in it. Everything went black. When I woke up, I was in an interrogation room. Oh, okay. So, like, they're... Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. I see. Okay. I woke up as an interrogation room with a bright, shining light in my eyes. Again, they asked me to help them by going after Rez, and again I said no. That's when they shoved the briefcase full of cash under my nose. What is it exactly you want me to do, I asked, counting the bills. Hey, everyone's got a price. As a matter of fact, the goons threw in a really spiffy secret agent tuxedo. Fits me like a 4-fingered glove. They explained that my mission was simple, to save television and make Rez disappear. As I left the building, a beautiful secret agent named Agent Extra introduced herself to me. Welcome to the team, Gexy, she said. So not all agents who work for the secret government agency are big, ugly goons, I thought. Thanks for helping to stop Rez, Agent Extra added. I love television too. Then she giggled and walked away. I could tell right away that Extra and I were going to be good friends. They were going to bang is what's going to happen. A big government limo drove me home. The agents had already programmed my TV to work as a doorway into the media dimension. They'd even set me up with a secret cave to use as a base of operations once I got there. Lock and load, little lizard, I shouted as I dove into through my TV and re-entered the media dimension. It's tail time. Alright, I now already have to swap the music again. Ads are in the way. Alright, I'll wait. Because I've got to find prehistoric TV. Prehistory channel. What's this one? Stay there, microphone. Stop moving. Oh my god, there's two changes straight away in this. Oh my god. I landed on the prehistory channel, right on the head of a T-Rex. I suppose in some weird genetic way? Oh, in some genetic way we're related. But I wasn't going to stick around to compare family photos. I had to find Rez and stop him from taking over TV. That was my goal. The government goons had told me that Rez's nerve center had been expanded into an entire city in the media dimension. The city was called Rezopolis. But how was I supposed to get there? Would the first TV I found lead me right to Rez, or would I have to dance my way through a pile of reruns before I got to the big enchilada himself? While these questions raced through my mind, the giant T-Rex casually shook his head, sending me flying into a television. These segues are fucking ridiculously bad. Thank you for the hydrate. I'm already having to oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Crash. I landed in Circuit Central. A world of old sci-fi shows right in the captain's seat of the bridge of the Starship Winner... the Starship Winner Prize. We were under attack from an alien race known as the Rerons. Suddenly, a troop of Reron warriors materialized on the bridge. I leaped into action. It's tail time, I shouted as I struck with my roundhouse tail attack. Whip, whip, whip. I slammed into the dreaded Rerons, shattering their bodies into a million scattered electrons and diminishing their dream of conquest, all in one swift stroke. Not bad for a lazy lizard. You're in command, Mr. Schlock, I told the first officer. I'm out of here. And then I jumped into the ship's main view screen, hoping to land in Rezopolis again. I already have to... yeah, it is. It's like playing Crossworld. It is. It's like playing Crossworld. Gong. I'd landed in the middle of Kung Fu Theater. I was staring right into the ugly mug of the disgusting half-pig, half-cow called Mushu Pork. I took a Kung Fu stance. Hey, I've seen enough movies to fake it. Then, I looked down and saw that I was now clad in a bright red Kung Fu outfit. Complete with nunchucks and a Chinese takeout box, in case I got hungry after my fight. Grandmaster Gex to show you what I'm made of. Grandmaster... What? Grandmaster Gex to show you what I'm made of, I said. Mushu Pork lunged at me with a nasty-looking cattle prod. I swiftly countered my nunchucks, grabbing the prod and flinging it. Just getting my kicks, darling, I said, lashing out with a powerful kung fu kick that sent Mushu Pork flying back into the takeout kitchen. So much for him. After a quick snack, I spotted a TV. There on the screen, glaring and taunting at me, was an image of Rez. At that moment, I knew my next stop would be my last. I wolfed down the final piece of General Chang's chicken and dove into the TV screen. Okay, I now need to change it. Oh, is the thing? Alright, hang on. Oh my god. This is... There you go. have to swap the music again. Sed's cooking breakfast again. Sed's on his gluttony arc. Sure enough, I found myself in Rezopolis. It was unlike any place I'd ever seen. The sprawling city flickered with blue, static-filled light, like a TV set trying to pull in a weak signal. Electrical impulses whizzed through the air like urgent messengers. The place was alive with power. Before I could see him, I caught a whiff of Rez. I spun around and there he was, breathing over me. "Hi," I said. "I'm here about the receptionist position. I heard your receptionist is bad, not to mention your breath." "You have come to me, Gex," hissed a crackling electric voice. "Actually, I've come to pulverize you," I announced. "Now sit down and beg like a dog." Jesus Christ. Rez slammed me with his right hand and with a right hand swipe that sent me flying into the side of a shimmering blue building. He didn't waste a second, firing a missile that came straight towards me. I jumped out of the way just in time. The missile destroyed the building, which winked out like a TV set going off. Oh, I see. It disappeared. Okay. "All right, Rezi, old boy," I yelled. "It's tail time." I charged straight at him. When I was 2 feet away, I whipped my body around and smashed him with a roundhouse tail attack. Rez went zooming through the air and crashed into the TV screen, where he was trapped inside. "Now I can see you perfectly," I said, as Rez struggled unsuccessfully to escape from the TV. "Your reception cleared right up." "Listen to me, Gex," he said, his hands pressed against the inside of the screen. "I have something to tell you." "I'm listening," I said. "What's the hurry? You're not going anywhere." "Gex," Rez began, "I am your father." Now that I was not expecting. "But, Obi-Wan, Mum told me you were dead." Yeah. I replied, hiding my shock. What the fuck? Wait, they retcon the story. They retcon the story. That's so weird. Oh my god. Okay, alright. I'm gonna wait for the ad to end and then I'll keep reading. That's so weird. "No, I wasn't killed in that NASA accident," Rez explained. "I was just hideously deformed, and it made me hateful. I will rule all of TV, and you won't stop me." It was then I spied the remote control sitting on top of the TV. I grabbed it and aimed it at the set. "No, don't turn it off," Rez pleaded. "Goodbye, Dad," I said. "See you in reruns." Why? He didn't have any beef with his dad in the first place. I then used the remote to turn off the TV. The image of Rez disappeared and everything went black. When the lights came back on, I was out of the media dimension, back in my living room. Okay. Is this canon or not? I don't make that decision. It is, if you want to make that decision, that is completely up to you. As I sorted through the shock of learning that Rez was really my father, I thought I would never see him again. That was 6 months ago. Boy, was I wrong. This moment right there on the TV news was the report that my good friend Agent Extra had been kidnapped by Rez. So now I had to head back into the media dimension. Well, What are you waiting for? A familiar voice cried from my giant TV. I looked at the screen. There was extra, bigger than life. Rez is holding me in his secret space station, she explained. You're gonna have to go through a lot of different worlds to find this place, but Gexy, you're my only hope. Her image began to flicker and fade. Start in your secret cave, she cried. Then her image disappeared. I quickly changed into my ultra-cool secret agent tuxedo. It's Deja Ouch all over again, I shouted. And then I leapt into my giant TV screen, back into the media dimension. That was chapter 2. This is like watching paint dry. This is bad, man. All right, so I got to get the Gex 3 OST up now because so I got to say within 2 chapters, all right. What's really bizarre is that we have spent 2 chapters running. There's 10 chapters to this book, okay? And what's really wild about that is that they've summed up the first 2 games in a chapter, like in 10 pages apiece. Which is nuts to me. Like, that's nuts. All right, here we go. I've got... So I'm assuming the last 8 chapters of this book is just them talking about Gex 3. But this book's meant to help you be a companion piece. You literally just only notice Chonky sitting next to me. Oh, I accidentally changed my thing. I apologize. Hang on. Now I'm the Slig. She referenced... Yeah. Sorry, I've changed into my Slig. That was sent late. That's a cool cat. She looks mad at me. Don't you reckon? Jonker. Jonker. Hang on a second, chat. I've got to, like, redo my mouse again. She's plotting? Nah. She's thinking about food, dude. Yeah, Weenie's the plotter. Jonker. Jonker! Onion! Yeah, I think this remote's on the way out. Nah, it's not. I don't think it's the... Yeah, can you get me 2 AA's, please? Oh, AAA's, please. Just to see if it is the batteries. And then we'll move to chapter 3. Yes. Yes, please. It might just be the drivers though, because the computer's got a lot of shit going into it. So we're an hour in and we've done 2 chapters. I'm really excited. Okay. Okay. The previous trips from our world into the media dimension were like taking a ride on the world's biggest roller coaster. Backward, hanging upside down by your toes. Blindfolded after eating about 4 pounds of flies. In other words, they made me nauseous. Well, this trip was no different. Here I am to save the day, I sung out as I landed on my tail. I looked around and saw that I was in the secret cave headquarters of the government agents that had set me up for the media dimension. The first thing I realized was that my secret cave apparently was not so secret anymore. Someone had trashed my hideout. I'll give you 3 guesses to who it was, and the first 2 don't count. The TV sets in the cave were smashed to bits. One huge cabin had collapsed from an explosion. My media dimension subscription to TV Guide had been allowed to expire, and my 6-month supply of dried flies had been stolen. Looked like old Rez had been busy, and I don't mean trying to patch things up with his long-lost son. On the ground among the rubble of my hideout, I spied a remote control. I never thought it would still be working, but when I pushed the power button, a TV wedged up in the ceiling flashed on. It was the one set Rez hadn't destroyed, and it was obviously the way into the next world in the media dimension. I jumped straight up and vanished into the screen. Bam, boom, 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 boom. I landed on a cold metal floor. Darkness surrounded me. Outside I could hear sounds of explosion. Oh my god, we're already in that world? Fucking hell, this book jumps around and skips worlds. Like, he got this explained to him in such a backwards way. I could hear the sounds of exploding grenades and machine guns. I reached up and pushed my finger against the steel helmet resting on my head. This helmet is gonna So, it's meant to say mess, but they've spelt it muss, as in M-U-S-S. This helmet is gonna muss up my hair, I shouted, realizing that no one could hear me. Clank, clank, clank. The sound of bullets bouncing off metal let me know where I was. I was inside a tank. Tank goodness. If not for this rolling metal jacket, I'd have had many holes in me as the plot of Independence Day. Private Gex reporting for duty. I looked down at myself and saw that in addition to my helmet, I was outfitted in full army fatigues. Boring. When they said Olive... Oh, is it? Oh, shit. My scissor... Okay. I thought it was a spelling mistake. When they say olive drab, they mean drab. I glanced at the high, tightly laced standard black boots. These boots come in red, I thought. It's one of my best colors. And could they lace these things any tighter? Man, nothing like army clothes for total comfort. Actually, what this uniform needs is some accessories. A handbag, some shiny buttons and a lovely bow. Are they implying that Gex is cross-dressing? Like, what does that mean? Or is he just trying to be funny? I switched on the tank's view screen. Oh, wait. A grenade explosion snapped me out of my fashion nightmare and brought me back to my dire situation. I switched on the tank view screen and assessed my position. I was on a huge battlefield. 3 enemy tanks approached from the left, 2 more from the right. Where's the gas pedal on this thing, I wondered, as I rumbled along the bumpy ground. And why is it that Bond gets all the fast cars and not me? An enemy plane dropped a bomb that landed only a few feet in front of me. Shrapnel and rocks bounced off the tank. I kept rumbling forward. On the other hand, I can see the advantage of this rolling tin can. Another bomb exploded nearby, even louder than the first one. Note to self, don't get killed in a big loud war. Then the thought hit me. I'm a resourceful gecko. I've made it through these bizarre worlds of the media dimension before. This World War II world isn't all that different from some of the other worlds I've encountered. Besides, I've watched enough old war movies to know the score. I had to do what any self-respecting gecko would do. Fight back. I studied the tank's dashboard as the explosions continued around me. The switches were labeled load, lock, target, and fire. I can do that. It's time to lock and load, little lizard. I pressed the load button and heard a shell slip into the tank's main gun. Then I pressed lock and the gears started turning. A light above the fire button flashed. I pressed the target button and peered into the tank's sighting periscope. The nearest enemy tank was lined up in my crosshairs. It's tank time, I shouted as I fired a round. I watched in glee as the shell exploded from my tank's main gun and blew up the enemy tank. I came, I saw, and I kicked some World War II butt. Of course, as a famous space smuggler once said to a young Jedi-to-be, don't get cocky, kid. I felt this was good advice. As I peered through the sight's mechanism, I saw the remaining 4 tanks form a line. The wall of enemy metal rolled towards me. I thought a small amount of retreating would be in order. The enemy tanks began closing in on me. I had the pedal to the metal, but they were still catching up. I flipped my sighting periscope to the rear and saw all 4 tanks aiming their main guns at me. It didn't take a rocket scientist or even a tank scientist to figure out what they were planning. They were going to unleash all 4 of their guns at once. I'd been lucky so far, but I knew this big bucket of bolts I was treading along in could only take so much. "Waiter, check please," I shouted as I flipped open the top of the tank. "I believe this is my stop. Porter, could you get my luggage?" I leaped out, just as all 4 enemy tanks fired. That was a close one. I stuck to a nearby tree using my suction cup feet and watched as all 4 shells ripped into my tank, reducing it to a pile of scrap metal. Lights, camera, war, I thought. I realized that I too would have had to have been pulverized into as many pieces as Saving Private Ryan had Oscar nominations if I had remained inside the tank. I dropped to the ground and was face to face with a huge enemy soldier. His immense shoulders narrowed down to a pencil-thin waist. Can't, but I want to keep my views straight soon. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Have a good day, Electros. Are they I don't know. Well, no, because he's a gecko. He had firmly set his jaw that was as square as a brick, and his mean-looking eyes stared right at me, as if green were the only color in the world. His uniform and helmet were also the popular color for this fall's army fashion collection. And now presenting the award for the category of Best Performance by the Hideous Ugly Soldier in a Shooting Role, I began, flashing the big guy a grin. "I didn't catch your name, son. Tan Hut Soldier," screamed the enemy. Wait, I'm called the Sarge, and you are now a prisoner of war. I've never been a prisoner of war before, I explained, as I readied myself for battle. How does one dress? Are the black boots and green pants okay? I don't think the boots come in red, but I'm checking into it. Then I swiped at the Sarge's feet with a roundhouse tail attack, knocking him to the ground. "You'll thank me when you're older," I said, as I dashed away. But where should I go from here? I had to find a TV that would take me to the next level if I was to make it through the media dimension and rescue Agent Extra from the evil Rez. I looked over my shoulder and I saw the Sarge was right on my tail. Well, not literally on my tail, but he was pretty damn close. There's no escape, Gecko," he shouted. I'm the Sarge, and I give the orders in World War II world." "Hi, I'm Gex, and I'll be your waiter." No orders just yet, please," I called over my shoulder. "Your table is still being cleared." That's when I turned around and ran right into the front of another one of those pesky tanks. Everything went black. I woke up with a pounding in my head and the soft sound of a harmonica playing in my ears. Glancing around, I realized I was in a wooden barracks, filled with other prisoners. I peered out of the window and saw enemy soldiers marching with guns. I also saw a barbed wire fence and tall guard towers, complete with big guards carrying large guns. I was in a prisoner of war camp. In the corner of the barracks, one prisoner was bouncing a rubber ball against the wall, over and over again. "What time does Colonel Hogan get back?" I asked. "I have to send an important message to the front. Or is it to the side? Anyway, the message is as follows. Get me out of here!" The mournful whining melody of the harmonica was coming from a scuffy soldier who sat on a dirty wooden floor of the barracks, leaning against his bed. He stopped playing and asked, "Where you from, kid?" "Originally," I replied, "Hawaii, but I moved around quite a bit. If you like the full story, I can give it to you, although I'd rather not stick around long enough to fill you in." "Yep," he replied, and then he went back to his harmonica. "And the Grammy for the best harmonica solo by a prisoner of war in black and white World War II movie goes to..." I was interrupted by the sound of the barracks door slamming open. The Sarge barreled in. "All right, listen up, prisoners," he bellowed. "There's never been a successful escape from Oh, so he is meant to be... He's meant to be, Colonel Klink. "There's never been a successful escape from Stalag 52. And I trust there won't be any foolish attempts now. Got that, Gecko?" "Are you talking to me?" I asked. "You talking to me? Because I don't see anyone else here. Except, of course, him, and..." Stow it, Gecko, the Sarge boomed. I just better find all of you right here when we call roll for dinner. Nothing I like better than a nice dinner roll, I said, as the Sarge slammed the door shut. Unless it's escaping from a POW camp. Who's with me on this? Ball bouncer continued to toss the ball against the wall, while harmonica boy kept wailing. Everyone else turned back to their comic books. Silver cat spotted. Yes. Chunky. Yeah, I'm reading it. Is your baby green? What is these references said? Seeing here, come onesie, watching Wolfie play. Let me see it. Oh, that's good. Topical reference. Yeah, she's just chilling up here. She's chilling. She's chilling. Yeah. Okay. This looked as if it would be one gecko operation. I scurried into a dark corner, pulled up a few wooden floorboards, and began digging into the dirt below. When my fellow prisoners saw how quickly I was making progress, they suddenly showed interest. Soon they were helping me hide the dirt from my dug tunnel under their beds, in their footlockers, and tiny piles around the barracks. That night we would make our break. After a lovely dinner of cold potatoes and warm water, and no dinner rolls as promised, I led the others as we slipped into the tunnel. I emerged from the other end of the tunnel into the darkness, and just beyond the barbed wire fence, I was at the edge of the woods. Suddenly, spotlights sliced through the night. They were all pointed at me. Hello, POW camp. Thank you for coming out to the show tonight. For my first number, I like to play this little tune called Escape. It goes something like this. I bolted from the tunnel as the guards opened fire. My fellow prisoners followed me into the woods. Some made it, others didn't. I lashed my tongue up to the top branch of a tall tree, wrapped around it, and pulled myself to safety just as a barrage of bullets shattered the base of the tree. The tree started to fall with me on top. That's when I spotted the glowing blue TV screen on a high branch of the next tree. Sorry guys, this movie's over. I leaped into the screen just before my tree crashed to the ground. How do you not know your own joke? Said, I've done 700 videos. You're asking me to remember a joke? Like, it's hard to remember. I do remember it now that you've said it. But, like, it's hard to remember. Like, if you made that many videos, like, it'd be very hard to remember. You have the Gex collection now. Are the nudes included? You didn't get the book, though. So, sucks. Oh, you know what I should have up here? Sitting here. Would you guys see it if I put it in frame? Hang on. If he was... Yeah, he would be. Hang on, give me 1 second. Give me a second. 1 second, chat. All right. Now, question is he going to be seen in the shot? There you go. Alright, we just finished chapter 3. Let me find out where chapter 4 takes us. Okay. So it looks like each chapter is going to be a, so I don't have to swap the music each time. Would Terry be friends with Gex? I think Terry would get Gex to, show him all the porn channels. Oh my god, this is terrible. This is also the most expensive thing that I've ever spent money on, gaming-wise. By the way, I wanna iterate this. This is a limited edition Gex plushie that you could only get with the Game Boy game for the third one. These normally range like and I think it was only like UK and America to get this. And I normally wouldn't admit how much I spend on stuff. These usually go from minimum $1,000 to like $5,000. I got this for like $450 because the jacket's a little bit ripped. I spent $450 on a plushie. I feel dirty saying that, but at the same time, it's a Gex plushie and no merch exists. So I'm kind of like, it's the most expensive thing. Yeah, so I'll say this quickly. So the jacket's torn, and there's a Gex Reddit, and everybody talks on the Gex Reddit about getting these. And the last one that sold was around about $2,000. And so I've been kind of always watching just to see. And there was a guy on eBay that put this up, and I think it's from Canada, and he had it up there for $750. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot my shot. And I was like, $450, and it was like $450 plus 50 postage. So it was $500. I didn't eat anything for the month, but it's like a prized thing. This is prize. So this is like, again, this is the most expensive thing I've ever like bought gaming wise. Like I would not spend that kind of money, but it's a Gex plush. So anyway. Chapter 4. I keep looking at you over there, chat, when you're there. I found myself at the wheel of a 1930s gangster-type sedan, driving down a crowded big street. I traded my army fatigues for a navy blue, double-breasted pinstripe suit, shiny black leather shoes, and black shirt, a white tie, and a white, wide-brimmed hat, which was cocked slightly to the side. A toothpick dangled from my mouth. Just call me Gangster Gex. Seated to my right was my favorite girl. Her bright red lips shone like two Twizzlers in the midday sun as she chewed her gum. Her platinum blonde hair, the color of which had been sitting in a bottle not more than an hour ago, gleamed and curled. She wore a long, slinky dress covered with sequins and a feather bow around her neck. "Where we going, Gexy?" she asked in a high, squeaky voice that made her fingernails on a chalkboard sound soothing. "Hey, forget about it, doll face," I told her, keeping one hand on the wheel as I was adjusting the angle of my hat with the other. "I got a meeting with Lenny Mobster. We gotta discuss dividing up the Northern Territory between my mob and his. Right now, he's got 75%, and I'd like to change that split. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to find a pair of concrete shoes to wear. You know what I mean, dollface?" "Sure, Gexy," dollface squealed. "Then you also know that I can't take you with me to this here meeting," I continued, shifting the toothpick over to the other side of my mouth. "Oh, Gexy, honey, I want to come with you," she whined. "Sorry, dollface," I said as I pulled my big sedan over to the curb. "Business first, fun later. I gotta get out of the car." I got out of the car and walked around to the passenger side and opened her door. Screech. Again, oh, these are expensive now, Wolfie. Like, go look on eBay how much these sell for, and there's not any on eBay. There was only a couple thousand made. I love how it said literally is just trying to ship Gex with himself. He would jerk himself off though. Said, come on. Tires squealed as the black sedan whipped around the corner. 2 mugs hung from the window, firing their guns in my general direction. "Run, dollface," I yelled. She ran. I quickly ducked behind the car, expecting my attackers to return. Sure enough, Lenny Mobster's mugs came tearing down the back street. Machine gun bullets ripped the finish off my beautiful sedan, not to mention the chrome and the windshield. I just got her waxed too. Still, my gleaming hunk of Detroit metal was all that stood between me and my one-way ticket to that big speakeasy in the sky. I glanced at the car coming down the street. Vicious Vito was behind the wheel. Perfect. I never liked him anyway. I lined up the car carefully with my eyes as it made its way towards me. "I got them in my sights now, Miss Moneypenny," I muttered, to no one in particular. Then I shot a gelatinous tongue lash towards the speeding car. My slippery green slime covered the street. The car hit the slime and skidded out of control, crashing right into the front of Vinny the Face's betting parlor. Beautiful. And that's when one of Lenny's goons whacked me on the noggin with the butt of his revolver. Little Tweety birds flew around in a circle above my aching head. I tore a mobster goon," I said. I did. And then I slumped to the ground. I started to come out of it slowly, but instantly wish I was still unconscious. "Waiter, a new head, please," I mumbled. Pain shot from my forehead to the back of my neck, and did little tap dance across my skull. Both sides of my head felt like temples of doom, but Dr. Jones was nowhere in sight. "Throw me the idol, I'll throw you the whip." I heard a dull rumbling. At first, I thought it was a track from the latest Spice Girls album, but then I knew it couldn't be. It had a much better melody. Then it struck me. Ow! Bad choice of words. I realized I couldn't see. "I'm blind!" I screamed. My shout was muffled, as if I was in a tiny enclosed area. I tried to sit up and whack. I slammed my head into something hard. Pain factor 8, Mr. Sulu. Engage. I felt around in the darkness and touched something round and rubbery. A tire, I thought. Next to the tire was a long metal pipe. A tire jack. That's when it hit me. Oh, again. Bad choice of words. My skull, she's gonna blow, Captain. And we're all out of dilithium headache pills. I finally figured out that I was in the trunk of a moving car. That explained the dull rumbling. I was on my way to a face-to-face confrontation with Lenny Mobster, no doubt. So it looked as if our little meeting was going to take place after all. I got to talk to him about the invitations, though. A little card in the mail would have been just as fine. Today on Gexy Stewart's Living, how to make your own invitations out of clear wrapper that come on slices of American cheese. It's a good thing. The car came to an abrupt stop, slamming an already throbbing head into the spare tire. It's the new and improved Gex, now with super brain splitting headache action. The trunk popped open and daylight flooded the compartment, blinding me for a second. When my eyes refocused, I wish they hadn't, I was staring up into the ugly mugs of Frankie the Fish and Lefty Louie. "Fish, Lefty," I mumbled. "Long time no see." "Not long enough, though. Well, I'll just be going now. I climbed from the trunk. I'm late. They've asked me to present the Mobster of the Year award down at 54th Precinct. And you know how those coppers hate to be kept waiting." "You ain't going nowhere, Gexy," growled Lefty, "except where we're taking you to see Lenny Mobster." "Lenny, what a surprise," I cried with my best fake enthusiasm. "And I thought this was just a reunion of our license plate shop group from Alcatraz. Silly me." "Dead you, if you don't shut up," Frankie the Fish said. "Let's go. Lenny's waiting." Each mug took one of my arms and dragged me into a nearby alley. I recognized the place. It was smack in the middle of Lenny's territory. We maneuvered out of the way through the twisting concrete maze until we came to a heavy steel door at the back of the building. Lefty knocked hard 3 times. A small eye-level slot in the door slid open. 15 dead guys walk into a nightclub," Lefty said. "The coppers arrested your uncle on Tuesday," replied the hairy-knuckled gorilla on the other side of the door. "Good secret code," I commented. "Shut up," Frankie said as the door swung open. Frankie and Lefty led me downstairs. They opened the door to a small office, then shoved me into a chair. Lenny Mobster was staring down at me. Lenny, I began. A phone call would have just been just as fine. In fact, I was on my way to see you when your bulldogs here gave me an entirely unnecessarily lift. Frankie the Fish and Lefty Louie both glared at me. Good doggies, I said. And such shiny coats. What do you feed, Lenny? Lenny ignored my sparkling repartee. I brung you here to discuss a change in our territories, he explained. Lenny, old pal, you're a regular mind reader, I said. That's exactly what I wanted to see you about. I think this 75-25 split is for the birds. I couldn't agree more, pal, Lenny replied. I'm proposing a new arrangement. You give me all your territory, or you stop breathing. Permanently. Now, I was quite fond of breathing. It ranked right up there with eating flies and watching TV. Well, Lenny urged, what's your answer? Do I have to answer in the form of a question, I asked? I'll take tail time for 400, Alex. I leapt to my feet and smashed Lenny's desk into a pile of toothpicks with my roundhouse tail attack. Lenny and his goons were stunned for a moment, but they recovered quickly and opened fire. I rolled out of the way and ended up in a corner. From there, I scurried up the wall across the ceiling. Say goodbye, Gecko, Lenny hissed. Goodbye, Gecko. Okay, now what? I asked. How about this, I said, before Lenny could answer. I let loose with a gelatinous tongue lash. Green slime shot in all directions. Casting call for The Exorcist Part 12 right this way. The three goons were covered in sticky, slimy green goo. Their guns wouldn't fire, and their feet were stuck to the floor. I took advantage of the moment, scampering across the ceiling and down the wall. Then I kicked open the door to the far side of the room. Stepping through the door, I spotted a giant TV screen. As this was the 1930s, and TVs didn't exist yet, I knew this had to be my ticket out of gangster world. Too bad, Lenny, I called back into the office as the mobsters struggled with the green goo. This could have been the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Then I jumped into the TV screen and disappeared to safety. Chapter 5, we're halfway. We're halfway. This might be a 3-hour stream. Let me see, where are we going for this one? Oh, okay. We're jumping all over the place. You don't need much for... Yeah. Well, I try to justify it, you know? Okay. Sorry, like... My nose is, like, itchy. Yeah, it feels like it. Can you guys see the book okay when I hold the book up? The sound of thundering hooves was deafening, and the crowd was in the stands was a blur. Yet one thing was for sure, I was moving, and fast. I looked around and saw that I was standing in a narrow chariot, bouncing along on large wooden wheels. In my hands, I tightly gripped the reins of my team of horses. On my head sat a metal helmet with wings like the god of Mercury's extending off each other. Leather armor covered my chest, and a skirt, a lovely pleated number, hung from my waist. I'm a manly man, I shouted to the guys in the chariots on either side of me. They laughed and raced on ahead, leaving me in the dust. I was Gladiator Gex in Roman World. The next level on my way to finding Rez and Agent Extra. Hey guys, where are you going? I shouted after the other Roman soldiers in the chariot race. I'm Gexius, hero of Rome. Now eat my dust. I urged my team of horses on. Somehow I sensed that winning the race would bring me one step closer to finding the next level and locating Rez. As I caught up to the chariot in front of me and pulled alongside it, I started waving frantically, pointing at the other drivers. Excuse me, great Roman warrior type guy, I shouted, but your shoelace is untied. I beg your pardon, he replied. What is a shoelace? I looked down at his feet and saw that he was wearing sandals. Shoelaces wouldn't have been invented for a thousand more years yet. Pardon me, O great soldier. A chariot race supreme, I called back. What I meant was that your sandal is untied. Oh dear, he said, looking with great concern at his feet. That's different. And that's when I made my move. I leapt from my chariot to his, landing firmly with my suction cup feet. Chariot boy was still staring at his sandals, trying to figure out what untied meant. When I whacked him with my roundhouse tail attack, my tail saying, hello. My tail says hello, I shouted as he flew from the chariot, and I say goodbye. As I jumped back into my chariot, I saw him roll to a stop. One down, I thought. If they're all this dumb, I should be fine. One by one, I gained on the other chariot racers. I passed Goofiest Moronus, then Biggest Nosus, and finally pulled up next to the leader, Ugliest Maximus. You cannot pass me, young upstart, Ugliest Maximus shouted. He urged his horses on. I kept pace, stride for stride. Hey, Ugliest, I called. Was that your head, or have you grown a big repulsive pimple on your shoulders? The lug got so enraged that he lost control of his chariot. I zipped past him, shouting, will the last one to leave the Colosseum please turn out the lights? I crossed the finish line to the rousing cheers of the Roman crowd, and then vaulted from my chariot and trotted around in a victory lap for my adoring fans. Thank you very much, I said. I waved at my audience as they continued to cheer. They sure are excited about a little old race, I thought. Come on, stop, please. I don't deserve this. Well, I actually do. My trot around the Colosseum ended right in front of Caesar's reviewing stand, the Emperor of Rome. Julius Caesar stepped down to shake my hand. Then he raised my arm up over his head, a victory sign. Careful, I warned him as my arm shot up into the air. Deodorant hasn't been invented yet. This didn't seem to faze him. The winner and new greatest champion of Rome, Caesar announced, Gexius. The crowd went wild again. I began to get bored. So Caesar, I'll take a salad. Hold the anchovies. Haha, just kidding. But seriously, Julie, baby, I said to the ruler of Rome, what does a hero have to do around here? What does a hero get around here for winning this race and becoming the greatest champion of Rome? You, Gexius, get the honor of fighting and defeating the Cyclops, who has been terrorizing our citizens, Caesar replied. Great, I said. So what's my prize for winning is... What? I shrieked as I realized what he had just said. Now let me get this straight. I win, so I get to fight a Cyclops? Of course, replied Caesar. Only our greatest champions can defeat the terrible creature. He eats people, you know, and geckos too. So if I had lost the race, I wouldn't have to fight him, right? I asked. That's correct, Caesar said. Do-over, I cried. Foul! Two free throws. Can we do this race again? Of course not, Caesar said. Now, go defeat the Cyclops, or I'll feed you to the lions. I marched slowly from the Colosseum, trying to think of a way out of this. But once again, defeating an enemy and moving on to the next world appeared to be the only way to rescue Agent Extra. When I reached the edge of town, the Cyclops was waiting. Hey you, I shouted up to the gruesome beast before me. You, tall, bald, and one-eyed. I'm walking here, okay? The 12-foot Cyclops roared in disapproval. I'm sorry, auditions for the MGM Lion have closed about 60 years ago, I replied, forgetting that this was a couple of thousand years before the movies were even invented. The Cyclops picked up a boulder the size of a small car and heaved it towards me. It's tail time, I cried as I stepped to the side and drew my tail back. Paging Mr. Maguire, Mr. Mark Maguire, thwack. I swung my tail like a baseball bat and smacked the boulder, sending it back in a hard-line drive, right at the Cyclops' midsection. Old One Eye caught the boulder in his chest, wrapping his arms around it. The impact sent him flying into the side of a mountain, but he came charging back, twice as mad. You're the designated hitter, I announced, and here's the designated hit. Wham! I whacked him across the knee with my roundhouse tail attack. I'm swinging for the fences, baby, and it's deja ouch for you all over again. By the way, I'm famous for this. The Cyclops fell to the ground, tumbling over and over again like a big, bald, out-of-control gymnast. A 9.4, a 9.3, a 9.3, and a 4.6 from the Greek judge, I said, raising my hands high. By this time, the crowd from the Colosseum had gathered. A chant rose from the assembled Romans. Here we go, Gexy. Here we go, clap, clap. Here we go, Gexy. Here we go, clap, clap. I turned and bowed to my adoring fans. Big mistake. The Cyclops was quicker than he appeared. While my back was turned, he sneaked over, picked me up, and tossed me onto the mountainside. There you go, Gexy. There you go, clap, clap. There you go, Gexy. There you go, clap, clap. I crashed into a stand of trees and tumbled to the ground. I was high up on the side of the mountain. As I looked down, I could see the Cyclops laughing and pointing at me. Then I looked up and spotted a way out of this mess. I scrambled down the mountain and stood at its base, taunting the giant monster. Seen any good movies lately? In 1D, I shouted. Why don't you wear a monocle? Then I could call you Two Eyes. The Cyclops was furious. He charged right at me. Fortunately, most of the people got out of the way in time. A hush fell over the crowd. I waited for just the right second, then walloped the ground at the base of the mountain with a powerful tail slam. Gotta love that tail, baby, I shouted as the ground rumbled and the mountain shook from the impact. The many boulders I had seen when I was up on the mountainside came tumbling down in a stony avalanche. Exit, stage left. I dashed to safety as a pile of rocks buried the Cyclops. The crowd cheered once again. Gexius beat the Cyclops. Yes, he did. Clap, clap. Enough with that stuff already, I shouted, but my fans kept on chanting. Well, that takes care of the gruesome, I thought, but it doesn't get me any takes care of gruesome, I thought, but it doesn't get me any closer to res. Suddenly, the Cyclops' single eye came floating out of the piled rubble. The crowd gasped as I watched in amazement as the eye transformed into a TV screen. Well, there's my ride, I announced. Gotta go. It's been nice saving you citizens. Hey, there's no audience like a Roman audience. See ya, Caesar. You know I never did get that salad. I turned and leaped into the television screen. Colosseum surrender. Hey. It's Gex. He's... Yep. I don't know what you want me to say. The future is the city. This one is... Ooh, is this the... Hang on, I gotta check which one this one is. Oh, okay. I will say... Okay. That I do appreciate the fact the first two chapters were really quick. All the chapters so far, even though I've been corny, have been way better than the first two chapters. It felt like he wrote the 8 chapters and then was like, I need to sum up the first 2 games. Because it's like, at least these ones, like, each chapter's based on a book, like a TV. Whereas, like, in the first 2 chapters, he had to sum up, like, 10 worlds each chapter. Chapter 6. I tumbled through the bizarre darkness that always accompanied a trip from one world to another in the media dimension. When I opened my eyes, I thought I was dreaming. I was standing on top of a huge electronic billboard, looking out at a futuristic city of tall, gleaming buildings. Far below me, the people and cars that moved along the streets looked like ants scurrying back to their anthills. But the most astounding sight I witnessed came when I looked up. The sky was filled with robots. They looked like 757s with arms, legs, and faces. Ugly faces at that. Then I caught a glimpse of myself in the reflective surface of a building in front of me. I looked like a robot too. My arms and legs were encased in a mechanical armor that bent at the elbows and knees. My tail, my best defensive weapon, was protected by bendable, jointed armor as well. A tall helmet sat on my head, with an opening big enough only for my face. At least they didn't cover my gorgeous mug with one of those reject Halloween faces the flying robots wear. And that's when I realized that in this world I must be a flying robot. Nice costume, I thought. But what if I've got to go potty? I spread my mechanical wings and leapt from the billboard. I'm RoboGex, I shouted. Bartender, set me up with a pint of 40-weight oil. That's when I heard the strange but familiar voice coming through the built-in headphones inside my helmet. Gex, the voice ordered, turn around. I fired the retro rockets off the top of my helmet and came to a mid-air stop. My boot rockets enabled me to hover there as I spun around to face the giant video billboard I'd been standing on. There he was, about 1,000 times bigger than life. Rez. His hideous metallic face filled the giant screen. "You're taking too long, Gex," Rez said in a static-filled hiss. I tapped the outside of the helmet. "Hello," I said. "Very poor reception. What's the matter, Rezzy? Don't you folks in the media dimension have direct cable modems? I get a clearer signal when I download the latest video game codes." "I'm here to help you, Gex," Rez continued. "To help you find your friend." The picture on the video billboard pulled back from a tight close-up. Now I could see all of Rez. I also caught sight of Agent Extra, dangling helplessly from Rez's sharp metallic claw. My cold blood turned hot. "Why don't you just go to my favorite website, Rez? It's www.imgoingtodemolishyou.com. "You're taking too long," Rez repeated. "I'm growing impatient waiting for our final showdown. That's why I'm here, cutting through the levels to help you." I stared at Agent Extra, then looked at Rez. "I'm listening," I said. "You're in anime world," Rez explained. "Go to the secret robot hideout. You must defeat the giant robot security guard to get inside. Once inside, you have to battle Mac, the two-legged robot. If you conquer Mac, then the path to me will be revealed." A million questions raced through my mind, but what about... Too late. The image of Rez was gone and replaced by a billboard ad for Ono's repair shop. Like an Ono hole? The ad reads, "Then bring your tired body in for a complete tune-up and lube job. Change your personal body oil every 3,000 miles. You'll be glad you did." Okay. I jetted away, wondering how I would ever find a place called the Secret Robot Hideout. Then I spotted a large neon sign. It blinked on and off and actually read Secret Robot Hideout, followed by an arrow. Like everything else in the media dimension, this made no sense. But who was I to look a gift hideout in the mouth? I jetted straight for the sign, then followed the arrow around the right. That's when I first caught sight of him. He stood 20 feet tall, his entire body covered with heavy-duty armor. This must be the giant security guard Rez told me about. He seems well suited for his chosen career. The giant robot stood in front of a huge metal fortress. I guess with a security guard like Tiny over here, it's okay to advertise your secret hideout. I zoomed down and landed in front of the guard. "Delivery, I've got a double order of sushi. Well done for Mac," I announced. "So you'll just have to step aside. I'll be going into your impenetrable fortress." Unfortunately, the giant robot security guard didn't buy my line. His enormous steel neck bent down. He was staring right at me with his cold blank eyes. Then he started transforming. His long arms retracted into his body. He folded in half at the waist until his compact form resembled an enormous flying tank. His legs rotated around to the front of his body, turning into laser cannons. He flew right at me, both barrels unloading sizzling laser fire. "Shields up, Mr. Chekhov," I cried, and an amazing thing happened. My own armor reacted instinctively, transforming me into a mini fighter jet. I was instantly airborne, returning the fire from the two laser blasters that now extended from my arms. "Use the Force, Gex." Who said that? I looked around, but all I saw was the robot guard flying at me, lasers sizzling. "I've been saving this just for you, sweetheart," I said as I fired my own laser blast at the huge flying tank. Apparently the big guy had better shields than I did. My blast bounced off of him like a playful insult in a TV sitcom about a bunch of friends who hang out and... blam. Not only were his shields better than mine, his weapons were too. I was hit, losing altitude fast. Down I plummeted like the ratings of a TV sitcom about a bunch of friends who hang out and... crash. I hit the ground hard. I tried to fire my boot rockets to get airborne again, but they had been destroyed in the crash. I couldn't get back into the air. The robot guard landed about 10 feet away from me. I watched helplessly as he transformed himself into a giant tractor and came rolling towards me. I'll be crushed like a gecko pancake if I don't do something fast, I thought. And then I remembered I too was a transforming robot in this world. My metal limbs started folding and changing. Within seconds, I transformed into a helicopter. I knew I couldn't fly with my boot rockets broken, but that's not what I had in mind. As the tractor came closer, I flipped onto my side so that my tail blade, the body part formerly known as my tail, was facing the approaching vehicle. My armored tail spun the speed of a blender making a milkshake. "Watch out, you oversized hunk of metal," I shouted. "I'm going to tear you to pieces." Just then, the tractor hit my tail and began to shred. Gecko chop. Yeah, baby. I'm gonna have to start calling you Blade Runner, because it's helicopter tail time. The giant robot was now reduced to scattered bits of scrap metal. I transformed back into my regular armored body as the ruins laid smoldering around me. Suddenly, I heard a beeping. "Excuse me, pal. That's my beeper," I said. "Probably my agent." "Ah, Hollywood's calling me at last. Maybe I can get you a role as a trash compactor or a minivan." I felt around in my armor. Dang, I must have left my beeper in my other set of transforming armor. Maybe it's my shoe phone. I pulled my boot off. "Hello, Chief? Chief? Nope, not my shoe." A loud announcement boomed from the robot's head, which was no longer attached to his large body. 10 seconds to self-destruct, came the mechanical voice. "Pulling the old self-destruct trick, eh?" I asked. "You've been watching too much Star Trek episodes, and if I don't do something fast, I'll have watched my last TV show." "What a sad thought." 5 seconds to self-destruct. "It's transforming time," I shouted, quickly changing into a forklift. I rolled over to the robot's head, picked it up, and rocked back onto my wheels, tossing the head to the front door of the hideout. "Let's kick things up a notch." Bam! The robot's head exploded, tearing a gaping hole in front of the hideout. Changing back my original armored body, I dashed inside. The hideout was like a metal beehive with drone robots buzzing around, busy as they assigned tasks. Guard drones raced towards me, swinging my powerful armor-encased tail from left to right. I knocked them casually aside as I moved through the hideout. File this under, "Out of my way, boys, I'm on a mission." I finally reached the main floor of the center of the hideout. Floating in midair was a robot that looked like a miniature Death Star with legs. No arms, no head, just a round metallic body, and 2 dangling legs from the bottom. "Let me guess," I said. "You're Mac, the big robot boss." "My name is Bond, James Bond." Mac didn't say a word. Maybe he believed me, maybe not. He fired an infrared wide-angle light beam that smashed me into a wall. "Now cut that out," I shouted. "Okay, enough of this high-tech laser stuff. If you want to get rid of a robot, you gotta do it the old-fashioned way, with a bucket of water." I instantly transformed into a huge metal bucket. My arms and legs stuck out from the sides and bottom of the bucket. I rushed over to the nearby water cooler and filled myself up. The visuals, this is fucking wild. And scrambled back to Mac and tossed the water onto his head. His headless, armless Death Star body. Sparks shot everywhere and thick red smoke poured from Mac, filling the room. "I'm melting! Melting!" Mac squealed in a tiny metallic voice. Then he was silent. When the smoke cleared, I looked down. I was no longer a bucket. In fact, my metal armor was completely gone. I was regular old Gex again. In front of me sat a shiny new secret space shuttle. This must be what Rez meant when he said that there was a way to reach him if I defeated Mac. I thought. I jumped into the ship and powered it up. Then I flipped on the navigational computer. The way to Rez's space station was already programmed in. "He wants me to find him," I muttered. "This whole adventure has been one big tease." "Okay, Rezzy, old boy. Invitation accepted. Only, I'm not bringing a nice bakery product to your space station. I'm bringing my tail. And it's going to be Deja Ouch all over again." That was chapter 6. Oh, I gotta take a minute. It's not bad. It's not bad. Could be worse. Could be worse. I hope the music's okay too. Let me see. Where does this one go? Where's this go? Okay, so this one is also on the is in space. So they skip a shitload. It's not the superhero one. The ad starts in 50 seconds, by the way. Is it this one? I think it is this. Yeah, because he's heading to space. Oh, just give me a minute, chat. Just want to take a minute. Because I also I'll let the people from the ad. So wait, where does this chapter go then? Hang on. Oh my god. Oh, there's only 9 chapters. Oh, the 10th chapter is a page and a half long. How riveting. I'm not even gonna count that as a chapter. So we'll just say 3 chapters to go. 3 chapters and a page. Okay. I think I'm ready. The ship knew its way to Rez's space station all by itself. Rez was sending for me. I was on my way to the final showdown, and this time it was personal. I zoomed past many worlds of the media dimension. I saw a vampire in Monster World. That's a pretty good pace for a stream. I think so too, yeah. I zoomed past the many worlds of the... Oh, there's ad break. I'll wait. So you guys can, like, hear it. Because I know some of you not subbed, so... I don't know where it's gonna go for, like... I've got 20 pages to go. About 20 pages to go. It's about 20 pages anyway. Alright. Ad break over. We're back. Chapter 7. The ship knew its way to Rez's space station all by itself. Rez was sending for me. I was on my way to the final showdown, and this time it was personal. I zoomed past many worlds of the media dimension. I saw a vampire in Monster World. Where's Buffy when you need her? An evil-looking Santa in Twisted North Pole World? Your jolly days are over, present man. A dude who looked like Sherlock Holmes in Clue World? Elementary, my dear extra. The game's afoot. Or is it leg? Cowboys in Spaghetti Western World? Extra, I'm a fixin' a rescue. See, he's just like, they're just skipping over stuff now again. And pirates in Pirates of the Sea World. Arr, Arglass, I be saving you any time now. A bright light flashed around me. The ship strained as if it was passing through a barrier of some kind. When I emerged on the other side, I was out in the vast blackness of space, the final frontier. This is the voyage of the space shuttle Gexaprise. Its 3-game mission to seek out weird TV rejects, strange enemies, and wacky costumes, to blindly go where no gecko has gone before. The ship plunged through a star-filled darkness. I put my feet up on the dashboard and sat back to enjoy the ride. But it didn't last long. A red light on the dash began to blink on and off. Wouldn't it be just like Rez to give me a ship that ran out of gas? But it wasn't the fuel light that was blinking. It was a light that indicated that we were approaching a large object in space. Either Scotty was floating nearby or Rez's space station was looming through the front window ahead of me. It was the station, and it was huge. It looked like a giant gyroscope spinning in space. If I knew Rez, and I certainly did, that space station was heavily protected by a tight defense network. Kind of like CBS during a bad ratings week. I spotted a cluster of satellites orbiting around the space station. I coasted over to them and flipped on the ship sensors. I was sitting outside the space station's defense shield. If I tried to fly my ship past the shield, I knew it would be detected. Therefore, I had to travel the rest of the way on pause. Gecko Airlines departing immediately with stops on that satellite. That satellite. Final destination, Rez's space station. Please make sure your tail is in the upright position. I leaped from my secret spy space shuttle and landed on the first satellite. My suction cup feet gripped the smooth, round metallic surface. That one, I thought. Only 12 more to go. One by one, I leapfrogged, or should I say, leap-geckoed, from satellite to satellite. I knew that Rez's defenses would detect something as large as a space shuttle, but I was hoping that something as small as me could slip through undetected. I was gonna find out. I stood poised on the last satellite. It was a long jump from there to the space station. Somewhere between the satellite and the station, I would pass through the defense shield. Lock and load, little lizard, I shouted. I'm out of here. Of course, in space, no one can hear you scream. I passed through the defense shield undetected. That's when I started to lose altitude. I never lose altitude, of course, but in this case, I was drifting down, away from the space station. Open the pod bay doors. Hal? 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 You think gangster would be said? No, they wouldn't be. Come up here, Tyrion. Tyrion, come on. Come on. Up. Lay down, Bubba. You just gonna stare at Dad while I read the story? Okay, you can be weird there. I reached swiftly, firing my tongue at the outside railing of the station, wrapping it securely around the railing. I pulled myself over to the station and caught my balance. Then I scurried along on my suction cup feet until I came to the door. It can't be this easy, I thought. A door right here leading into the station? Of course, I was right. It wasn't that easy. I reached out to the open door and it repelled away from the station by a force field. With a snap of my tongue, I pulled myself back and regained my footing. A force field, huh? It must be powered by an energy generator. But where is that? And where's Scotty when I need him? I continued around the circular station and spotted a series of 3 solar arrays, one stacked above the other. Then they obviously took solar energy from the nearby sun and sent it to the energy generators, which converted it into electrical energy, which was used to power the force field, which protected the door to the space station that Rez built. And I was the gecko that was going to stop the solar collections that pulled in the energy, which powered the force field, which protected the door to the space station that Rez built. Phew! The only question was, how? It's the dingo. Yeah, he is a dingo, eh? He's dingo dog. You come here. Come on. Come here. You gonna lay down? Here you go. He's listening to the story. You just booping me. You lay down. There we go. Where are we? The solution was elementary, my dear Gexy. I had to keep energy from reaching the generators. I scrambled the outer railing until I came up to the first collector. There, in the back of the giant dish, was a large switch labeled on/off. Let's see, I thought. On/off. On/off. Oh, I got it. Turn the stupid switch off. And now, representing the Olympic Lizard Gymnastics team, Gex. I vaulted onto the edge of the collector's dish and grabbed hold with my front paws. Going into a handstand, I arched my back. Now lift with the legs, and 2 and 3. Come on, girls, feel the burn. I whipped my tail right there, right at the on-off switch. Whack! The switch flipped down to the off position, and the solar collector went dark. We have confirmed a direct hit, General. 1 down, 2 to go. I looked around for an easy way up to the next collector, which sat above 4 stories above me, and that's when a small elevator platform came zooming up from below. I timed my jump perfectly and landed on the platform, sticking with my suction cup feet. Elevator going up? Which reminds me, do you realize that if Ella Fitzgerald had married Darth Vader, she would have been Ella Vader? The rushing platform continued its climb. Bing! The elevator chimed as it came to a stop. 5th floor, scuba gear, DVD players, and solar collectors. Watch your step getting off. I jumped from the elevator directly into my handstand and whacked the second switch with my tail. The collector went dark. 1 short elevator ride later, and I did the same with the 3rd and final collector. I took the elevator back down to the main door. I reached out and pressed the button to release the door. The force field was off and the door slid open. I hurried into the airlock and heard the outer door close behind me. After a few seconds, the room pressurized and the door leading inside opened. I was staring into Rez's space station. Houston, the Gecko has landed. Now it's lock and load, little lizard. I looked around and sized up the place. I think it was the size of as a size 15, extra large. We're talking gigantic here. The interior of the station was made up of a huge circular central tower, surrounded by 3 smaller towers, equal distances apart. Each of the 3 outer towers was connected to the central tower by a narrow bridge, but there were no ordinary bridges. These were no ordinary bridges. They were not in Madison County, nor were they over the River Kwai. Not one of them was even the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. No, instead, they were bridges made of static, just like a TV. They kept appearing, then disappearing, flicking in and out of existence. Below each bridge was a deep pit of nothingness. The very worst kind of deep pit, if you ask me. I knew that if I was caught in the middle of one of those bridges when it flickered out, it would be bye-bye Gecko. I leaped onto the first of the outside towers. As soon as I landed, a long-range missile zipped right past my head. Only inches away. Whoa! Beam me up, Scotty. The Romulists are using cruise missiles, and I never signed up for this cruise. I glanced at the large central tower. There, in the middle stood Rez. He floated in a field of static, staring at me. "Finally, you have made it to the heart of my space station," he said. "Now I can destroy you and your friend at the same time." Rez stepped aside, revealing the bound and gagged figure of Agent Extra sitting on the floor behind him. Yeah, elevator, yeah. Chapter 8. "Hey, I'm dedicating this rescue to the little lady I call Extra," I crooned. "How you doing, baby?" She replied through her gag. "Come and get me, Gex," Rez taunted. "Across one of these disappearing bridges, I suppose," I shot back. "Perhaps you've mistaken me for one of your thick-headed level bosses like Lenny Mobster or the Sarge, or maybe Mac. Well, now you're dealing with Gex, and that's a whole different ballgame." "And just how do you intend to stop me while I'm wearing this?" Rez asked. A metal plate suddenly appeared covering his chest. I looked around the tower and I spotted a TV screen on a slightly raised platform. Something was different about it. It didn't look quite like the other screens that had transported me from one world to another in the media dimension. I jumped at this screen. Instead of pulling me in, the screen shattered and out buzzed a fly. I looked across the canyon between the towers at Rez and saw that his metal chest shield was gone. It had disappeared the moment I smashed the TV screen. Then, the fly that had zipped out of the screen buzzed right in front of me. Pardon my tongue, darling. You're right, Tyrion? You can sit down, Bubba. "Pardon my tongue, darling, but it's snack time," I said, shooting my tongue out and snatching the fly. As soon as I swallowed it, I knew that, like the fly that started me on these wacky media dimension adventures, this was no ordinary fly. I felt a strange sense of power surge through my entire body. Now, right cross, left jab, punch, and wow, this Tai Bo stuff really works. I never felt stronger. Then it struck me. And I don't mean Rez's missile. It was the fly. Help me, help me. The fly I'd eaten was some kind of special power-up. Let's see just what this power-up can do. I'm sorry, Rezzy, old man. What was the question? I asked. How will I stop you while you're wearing what? That hood ornament you call a head? Rez glanced down at his unprotected chest and looked back up at me with a rage burning in his dull yellow eyes. I've been saving this especially for you, Rez. Oh no, I've been saving this especially for you, Rez, I shouted, and then I let loose with my gelatinous tongue lash. A stream of green slime jetted from my mouth. Now, let me tell you, I fired off a few gelatinous tongue lashes in my day, but this one was supercharged. The slime shot from my mouth like a green laser streak, bridging the cavernous gap between the two towers and striking Rez right on his vulnerable chest. Strike one, I shouted. Rez fell backwards, disappearing into a pool of TV static. All too easy, I muttered in my best Darth Vader voice. It seemed that the Emperor had underestimated your powers, young Jedi. I came, I saw, I conquered. Well, guess what? I was wrong. Rez reappeared seconds later. At first, he was a series of floating static particles. The particles reformed into the shape of Rez, then finally focused back into the fearsome tin can himself. And by the way, the pesky metal shield was back in place again. I think this calls for some close-up fighting, I realized. But I'm just going to have to cross disappearing bridges in order to get up close and personal. I stood at the edge of the outer tower looking down. I could see that the endless pit of nothingness. The bridge appeared before me, then vanished. It's now or never. The next time it appeared, I dashed out onto it, racing as fast as my gecko legs would move. Almost there, I told myself, when I was a third of the way across. Just a little farther, I thought, when I reached the halfway point, pushing myself. Run, Gex, run! Who said that? When I was 2/3 of the way, Rez's central tower, the bridge disappeared. 1 second, I was running along solid footing, and the next, I was pumping my legs in midair. I heard Rez's mechanical cackle as I did the only thing I could think of other than crying. I fired my tongue out, stretching it as far as it would go. Whap! My tongue caught the edge of the central tower. The rest of my body followed, slamming my face into the tower. I rolled over 3 times, then jumped up to my feet. Room service for Mr. Rez. Just sign here. I swiped at Rez with a roundhouse tail attack. I hit him squarely in the chest, but my tail just bounced off his metal shield. Then it was his turn. Now I finish you, Gecko, he threatened. You have been nothing but a constant irritation through my quest to take over TV. Some preparation H will take care of that irritation right away, I explained helpfully. Or maybe some powder for the big baby diapers rash. Enough, Rez screamed. He swiped at me with his right hand. I jumped straight up into the air to dodge the blow. He followed with a left-handed swipe. I ducked out of the way and countered with a tail slam. The massive tower shook from the impact, but Rez held his ground. Here, Rez boomed. Let me show you how it's done. He lifted his huge metal hand over his head, then brought it down hard, using what he would call his hand smash. The central tower shook violently. I tumbled back onto the bridge that fortunately was there when I landed. I'll be back, I said to Rez, but you can call me Beethoven. Then I dashed across the bridge. I reached the outer tower just as the bridge flickered out of sight. His invulnerability. He's invulnerable as long as he's wearing that shield, I realized. Gotta smash another TV and hope the shield goes away again. I climbed up the platform high above the outer tower where I could see another TV screen. A barrage of Rez's long-range missiles headed for me. I ducked to my left to avoid one and found myself right in the path of another. I had to jump in front of the TV platform back down to the tower in order to keep from getting hit. This is going to be tougher than I thought. I need to get to a TV in order to shut down Rez's chest armor and get my power-up fly. But when I'm up on the TV platform, I'm a sitting gecko, an easy target for Rez's missiles. I gotta be quick and cagey. I scooted back up to the TV platform. Missiles soared towards me. I pressed myself against the edge of the platform, hanging my tail out over the edge. I waved it in a big arc. The missile suddenly changed course, zeroing in on my tail. At the last second, just as the missiles arrived, I pulled my tail back in. The missiles sailed right past the platform. "It's TV time," I shouted. I whacked the screen with my tail, and out popped the fly with a swift whop of my tongue. That little buzzer was mine. Again, I felt the power racing through my body. Hey, this tower gives me an even better view of Rez, and I can see that his chest shield is gone. I took aim, and I was preparing to fire a supercharged gelatinous tongue lash when the next round of missiles headed my way. I leaped off the TV platform and clung to its edge by my fingertips. When the missiles had zipped past, I pulled myself back onto the platform and returned fire. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was back when they just didn't give a shit, maybe. Splat! A huge stream of gooey green slime spewed from my mouth. The green goo shot across the gap between the outer tower and Rez's central tower, striking him in the chest. Once again, Rez disappeared, de-rezzing into the pool of static. "Awesome, baby," I shouted. "I'm just that good." But once again, Rez reappeared on his tower, chest plate in place. "No problem," I said. "I'll just bust another TV screen, gobble down another fly, and zap you in the chest again. Sooner or later, you gotta disappear permanently." But when I turned around, the TV was gone. I quickly scanned 2 other outer towers. No TVs there either. "Ha ha ha!" Rez's evil laughter filled the space station. "What's the matter, little lizard?" He taunted me. "Someone took your TV away again. Fool. The TVs only return when you have paid me a visit here on my tower, and I'm waiting." So that's the trick, I thought. I've got to go back to the tower and fight old Rezzy up and close. Thanks for pushing the microphone, Weenie. So a new TV will appear, then I can power up and zap him from a long range. This time, the bridge to Rez's tower stayed intact long enough for me to scramble over and attempt my roundhouse tail attack again. I leaped up and whacked Rez in the head, figuring that maybe I would have had better luck if I aimed away from his chest shield. Slam! I was right. Rez went tumbling backwards and disappeared into thin air. Now that, extra baby, is how it's done. I slipped the gag from Agent Extra's mouth. "Gex, listen," Extra cried. "Rez will be back any minute. You only de-rezzed him temporarily. You've got to hit him in the chest with the shield down of a total of 5 times. Then and only then he will de-res for good. That last whack doesn't count, do you understand?" "Yeah, baby," I replied. "I'm taking you with me right now." "I don't think so," boomed a voice from behind me. Rez, back in his full form, swiped at me with his left hand. I quickly dodged the blow. He followed with his right hand swipe, which I ducked. Then came a move I hadn't seen before, one that took me by surprise. Rez spun in place like a top and swiftly moved towards me. With no defense against Rez's spin attack, I was sent flying off the platform, plunging down below into the blackness. Chapter 9. Is this... Okay. Chapter 9. Cold air rushed past me as I tumbled through the darkness. Above me, I could vaguely see a bridge that had reappeared. I shot out my tongue and caught the bottom of the bridge. Up I zipped, using my tongue like a safety rope. Within seconds, I was on the bridge, racing back to the TV platform on the outer tower. I reached the TV screen just as a barrage of Rez missiles came towards me. I ducked to avoid them, then swung off the platform, hanging by my tail. When all the missiles had passed, I climbed back on the platform and bashed the TV with my tail. I gulped down the buzzing fly that emerged and turned towards Rez to take aim. But I had trouble finding him. His form kept flickering in and out. I figured that each time I hit him, he got weaker and weaker. That must be what Agent Extra was talking about when he said that the 5th hit would de-res him for good. I waited for his shieldless form to materialize, then fired another gelatinous tongue lash. This time, instead of green slime, a spear of ice flew from my mouth. New gelatinous tongue lash icicles, now available in peppermint wintergreen and sub-zero frozen shaft. The icicle struck Rez squarely in the chest. Once again, he vanished into the static pit. "Oh yeah," I screamed. "Victory dance time." I did a little jig and then raced across the bridge, now visible. By this time, I had the routine figured out. Go to the central tower to reset the power-up TVs, then back to the outer tower to smash the TV and eat the fly. That is, if the bridge held up and Rez's missiles didn't mow me down. I reached Rez's tower and untied Extra's hands. Hurry, she said, do my feet. I'm staging a daring rescue, and you're thinking about a pedicure? I asked in amazement. I mean untie my feet, Gex, Extra shouted. The book was that good it knocked you out. She died. Oh, well, she can watch the VOD. I ain't reading this again. Oh. I knew that, I replied. Just testing you. That's when Rez appeared. He didn't look so well. Now that he not that he ever would have won a beauty contest, but now his form was faint. It flickered in and out of focus as if he was struggling to stay alive. This round, he wasted no time with his hand swipes. He went right into his spin attack and knocked me from the tower. I plunged into the darkness once again, but now I knew to stay close to the side of Rez's tower, close enough to reach out and stick it with my suction cup feet. Then came a long climb back up. By the time I reached the top, the bridge had reappeared. I leaped onto the bridge and raced back to the outer tower. Rez spotted me and fired a missile. I couldn't dodge it or outrun it, so I did the one thing I could have. I jumped onto it, straddling the missile like a cowboy riding a bucking bronco. Yeehaw! Ride 'em, cowboy, I shouted as I grabbed hold of the nose of the missile and steered it towards the TV screen on the platform above the outer tower. He put his... Nah, she wasn't. Come on. The missile, with me on it, smashed right through the entire TV and kept going. The fly popped out and I snagged it with a quick flick of my tongue. Then I took the nose of the missile with both hands and steered it around in a long arc. The missile and I were now headed back towards Rez. Again, his protective shield was gone. I'm giving you 3 seconds to get out of town, partner. This space station ain't big enough for the both of us. I reached his tower and leaped off the landing next to Agent Extra. The missile struck Rez right in the chest and exploded on impact. Now maybe it was because Rez had created the missile, or maybe it was just bad luck, but not only didn't the missile harm Rez, it actually seemed to give him strength. His body looked more together than it had ever been at any point since I'd started using his chest for target practice. Rez loomed over me. You have returned a great source of power to me, he snarled. For that I thank you. And to show my appreciation, I will crush the life out of you before I toss you off the tower. Awfully decent of you, Rezzy, old boy, I replied as his steely fingers tightened around my neck, and he lifted me off the ground. You're a regular humanitarian, or should I say, geckotarian. I drew as deep a breath as possible, then opened my mouth and shot my tongue at Rez's chest. This time, fire poured from my mouth. Rez vanished as I dropped to the floor. Finish untying me, Gex, Extra demanded. Oh, you behave, as I said as I raced back across the bridge. That's 4, I shouted back to Extra over my shoulder. I got to power up once more and put an end to that metallic nightmare. I reached the TV tower with no problem this time. Rez was taking longer and longer to recover from each blow. I smashed the TV and ate the fly. The bridge flickered in and out a few times during my return trip to Rez's tower, but remained stable enough for me to make it back. When Rez finally reappeared, I was ready. The moment he was clearly visible, I struck Rez in the chest with my ultimate gelatinous tongue lash. Green slime spread throughout his system. No! He screamed as he began to fade from view. Gex, listen to me, he said in a voice growling weaker and weaker with each word. There is another. Another? I asked in surprise. Another boss, he whispered. A big boss. A bigger boss than me. You may have defeated me, but this isn't over yet. Rez began to self-destruct. His image flickered, growing more faint until he faded away into the static of the Rez pit. He was gone. For good. It's over for me, pal, I replied, realizing that I had just destroyed the creature who had once been my father. My thoughts were brought back to the present as Agent Extra yanked on my tail. Untie me and let's get out of here, Gexy, she insisted. The tower began to shake. Explosions rippled through the space station all around us. I guess old Rezzy's taking the station with him, I said. And us too if we don't move fast, Extra pointed out. I untied her remaining ropes, then looked around for a way out. My secret space shuttle was docked just outside the main door, I explained. Come with me. I helped Extra off the tower and over to the door leading out of the station. The three outer towers that had been home base during my battle with Rez shattered into pieces, falling into the black nothingness below. I pulled the door open and stepped outside. Just in time to see the space shuttle explode. Oh man, I just got that ship too, I said. I didn't even get a chance to pull my honk if you love put my honk if you love TV bumper sticker on the rear heat shield. So how are we going to get out of here now, rescue boy? Extra asked. In that, I shouted, pointing at a huge space blimp docked nearby. Extra grabbed onto my tail. Hang on tight, I said. Then I leaped through the space towards the blimp. Using my suction cup feet, I grabbed hold of the door leading into the blimp's control room. We slipped inside, releasing the docking clamps, and headed away from the doomed space station. Not a bad rescue if I do say so myself, I remarked. We're still not home yet, Gexy, Extra replied, but thanks for saving me. Hey, what's a Bond without her Moneypenny, I asked. A Steed without her Miss Peel, a Jethro without her Ellie Mae. And that's when the space station exploded in a final blazing fireball. The wall of flame shot towards us. Do something, Gexy, Extra screamed. We can't outrun the fire in this giant Macy's balloon, I explained, screaming back as calmly as I could. Brace yourself, here it comes. The fireball hit with a ferocious impact. Our blimp was instantly ripped apart. Everything went black. A 6-pack of crisps at you? Well, how is it 6? Do you mean like there's 6 different chips in the packet? Is that multi-pack? Oh, okay. Alright, I have to swap the music. Big bag of oh, let me see. Oh no, wrong one. Chapter 10, aka the smallest chapter. PS1. OST. Why not just call it an epilogue? I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't call it an epilogue. This one's actually pretty good. I'll use this one actually. I felt the sensation of falling, and then suddenly I landed. I opened my eyes and saw that Extra and I were safely seated in my living room floor in my very own house in Hawaii. I looked up at the big screen TV. James Bond was battling Dr. No. I was finally home. You okay? I asked Extra as I got on our feet. Never better, she replied, giving me a small kiss on the top of my head. Damn. I gotta go, Gexy. So soon, I asked. She nodded. And that was it. Just as easy as that. Just that quick. She stepped out into that bright Hawaiian sunshine. A stretch limo was waiting. Thanks again for the rescue, Gexy, she said, winking at me in that funny little way that she had. We'll always have the media dimension, sweetheart, I said. Then she disappeared into the back seat and I drove out of my life once again. As for me, well, what else? I plopped down in front of my big screen TV with a bowl full of flies and my beloved remote and started doing what I do best. Other than rescuing damsels in distress from the media dimension, that is, I began flipping through the channels. I thought about Rez for a second and wondered whether I'd seen the last of him. Then, I hit upon my favorite Gilligan's Island rerun. You know, the one where Gilligan does something stupid and the skipper gets all upset. Then Marianne walks in and, well, you know the story. I gotta go. The big screen is calling me, and I always listen. See ya, baby. Wait, what does that mean? And then Marianne walks in and, like, what happened? Like, what do you mean? Like, what does that mean? Like each episode's typical of itself? Like, or does he mean like Gilligan does something stupid, the skipper gets all upset, then Marianne walks in and you know the rest of the story? Did he have a wank? Like, what did he see Marianne? Was like, damn. That's it. And you can't see it, but the little picture of him. This was single-handedly the best and worst novelization. Okay. The first 2 chapters were absolutely horrendous because it was them trying to sum up the first and second game within 4 pages. The other bits weren't too bad. Like, for a kid's book, they were way more descriptive when they got into, like, the actual worlds. And I was kind of like, I was starting to dig it after chapter 2. Like, once it got to chapter 3 and 4, I was like, yeah, okay, like, I get it. Like, I understand the assignment. But then to dedicate the last 3 chapters to the space station fight, when they could have done the detective world or the pirate world, I feel like they let themselves down a bit, because also, like, they have this whole thing where they go into such deep description on how to defeat the boss. But also, this book is meant to be a compendium. Like, it's meant to be a thing to be like, hey, you're about to buy Gex 3. Buy this book. But this book kind of tells you what happens. So, and yeah, what's really weird about the whole experience of reading this is, yeah, they connect it to the fact that there's a joke in Gex 2, which Rez says, I'm your father, which is not true. But they make it that Gex's family get an inheritance and buy Australia and NASA, and his dad dies in an explosion. And his dad didn't die in an explosion of tapioca, he became Rez. Is such a weird statement. Yeah, slapped her in the face with it. He then spread her legs and slapped her in the vagina with a gelatinous tongue lash. The bought NASA thing. Can I say, if the rest of the book was like the bought NASA line, and it was that summed up that quickly for 10 chapters, I would have been dead, and we would have been here for 5 hours, because I would have stopped to laugh at everything. The funny, I'll say this, the book's not funny for the most of it, right? But those first 2 chapters, particularly the one about his family and the tapioca and the NASA thing, is so funny. It's so funny. And then the rest of it just becomes, oh, you're just playing the game. And he does what he does in the game. He keeps quoting himself like over and over and over and over again. And I'm just like, oh, okay, that's just Gex. Like, that's, you know, yeah, those first 2 chapters are fucking terrible. They waste on giving NASA a restaurant, yeah. The book was funny during the insane parts. It's slightly scribbling. Yeah, it's funny because, yeah, the first 2 chapters of this book, right, it sounds like they were trying to work out who Gex was. And then we're like, oh, well, I don't know. So here's my notes. And then they just piled the notes down. And then that was the assignment. So weird to do it like that. Like, really weird. But those ramblings are the funniest bits. The rest of the jokes literally fall on themselves. And then the last part feels like a tutorial. Like, it literally felt like a walkthrough I was reading, because it tells you how to defeat Rez. Yeah, and then I feel like if they were gonna, like, do, like, a summary, like, you go through all of these extra little bits, and, yeah, it's strange. It's so... It's even weirder, like, hit the... That's not his suit he's wearing in that image. What the fuck is he wearing? He's wearing, like, a puffy shirt. There's an image in the front of the... You won't be able to see it, but there's an image in the front of the book. It looks like he's wearing a puffy shirt. That's meant to be where he's wearing the suit. It's like someone's schizo post. Yeah, the first... you know what the first 2 chapters remind me of? It felt like fan fiction. It felt like if fan fiction existed back then, that's what fan fiction would have been. And then pretty much anything after felt like one of the Sonic books that I would normally read. And I do have... I know Bariko was asking about books like these, but with Sonic. I do have books like these. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 books. So if you ever want me to do a stream, I would be happy to do a stream where I read those on stream as well. We could do like music. We could do like music overlay or something. It's not really my bag to, you know, I'm more about playing games and doing other stuff. But, you know, reading a book every now and again probably wouldn't be too bad. And I haven't read those in years since my mum bought them for me. I don't know if anyone else had it. It was called Scholastics. It was like a book company, and every time you went to the library, they had a thing that you would fill out. It was like a booklet of like all these cool books, with little games and puzzles and little like play sets, and you could order stuff through Scholastic. And one of the sections in the Scholastic book was, for 1 month, was like Sonic books. And I went home, I was like, oh my god, Mum, I want the books, I want you to get the books. And then, yeah, she filled it out, they send it away, and then they deliver sending the books to you, to the school, and you pick them up, and then you got to keep the book. It was basically books before bookstores existed. So Scholastics was a way of... It was kind of like mail order. Like, you were ordering products, like, you know, when you get the mail order books that come in your house. And Scholastics was huge for us kids in Australia. You did. I've just finished reading the entire book. 10 chapters, actually. But you can catch the VOD. I'd say you missed the first 2 chapters is pretty good. Like, someone went to Wikipedia without their meds and first 2 chapters and leads into... And they just want to spoil a big part. Well, what's really funny is, like, the writer of this also not only makes this story of who Gex is, because I've also read online that Crystal Dynamics have not confirmed if this is canon. So my assumption is that either they gave him notes or he worked out how to play the game. I would love to interview the person who wrote this, because the information on him writing this, I want to know how he got the info. And, like, what made his decisions and whether or not they had to sign off on this. Because that's what's the real interesting part about the whole experience of this book. Is it sounds like they... Yeah, it's too many retcons, yeah. Because, yeah, even in the second part, and they describe a lot of things a little bit differently. But this book I had to get from America. This never came over here, so I'm assuming Troll might be an American book company that got liquidated. And this might have been the same thing, where it was like a Scholastics mail book thing. And you had it at your local school library, and you pre-ordered, and the book came. And yeah, I found out about this, and I was like, I have to have it. Because it's the final piece of merch. It's the final piece of Gex merch. And you know me, I'm a huge fan of Gex. If there was more Gex shit, I'd have more Gex stuff, for sure. I wonder if the legal team did anything with the 500 references. I mean, I guess it depends, doesn't it? Because, yeah, we have that same issue when we make games. Like, we try not to add too many things that, like, are very specific. Like, we'll try to parody. But in this, they just do it. And there's no trademark or, like, copyright logos next to any of the things in the book. Like, the way they've written it, it's yeah. Maybe now's the right time. I think they wanted to see how the sales went. Can I be honest with you? I have a theory, and it's a pretty bad one, which is that I feel like Limited Run is technically buying the rights to a lot of these games, not just for preservation purposes, but I feel like they could sign teams for Tomba, for Gex, for Bubsy. Not directly, because I know Bubsy's being made by somebody else, but I feel like it's a test. It's always a testing the waters thing. If they earn enough money from something, and Gex is one of those things, I think. Yeah, they did. I didn't get it because I felt it was very lazy. One of the things that really pissed me off about... A lot of people have asked me about the Gex trilogy and why I didn't buy it. There is a section in Gex 2 where they show if you beat the game 100%, you get fan art of the game. And they play it in the credits. But the credits, it's like 480p. And it's really crusty. And I was like, I hope they include those images that they, like, all the sketches. And they don't in the new trilogy. And I was like, you guys had access to all of the Gex Vault shit. Like, you had access to all this behind-the-scenes stuff. Yet you couldn't ask them for those sketches or those, like the original rendered files. Like if you had the original builds, had a solid nap for a while. Well, Moomin, I will prepare to read more books if you really like it. Gaming books, of course, but yes. And I hope the music added to it as well. And yeah, I understand too, like, if they lost the files and they didn't have them, but there's a part of me that thinks that they just didn't give a shit. I feel like those files exist and someone's got them somewhere. And they don't even talk about Gex Jr., which only got discovered not long ago, which we will play on and stream one. I do now have a copy of Gex Jr., the prototype. I've made a disc copy. So I want to stream that, and even though it's not that long. The thing about the Bex was big issue with the Switch too. They didn't even bother to try to get it fixed before releasing, and that's another thing for me. Limited Run is such a, yeah. You'd like that, okay. And I wanted the music to kind of accompany the game a little bit. I know I probably wouldn't have done that normally, but I didn't want to just sit here and I wanted like a little ambient thing in the back. Where's let me see what else we got in this. Let's see. Bonus level, the project, Planet X. If I had a life, I'd be glad to get back to it. I hate so many indie devs release the game under Elgian. There's no way to get the games physical. Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. The thing is, though, and I hate saying this because I do feel like a bit of a bug about it. The wheels of that system are going to constantly, like, the more money they earn, the more trust they get, the more people will sign. It's a label, right? And for the small people, because of the majority of people that don't like it, it doesn't matter. They don't care that, you know. Do you want to see the Sonic books I got? I'll show them to you quickly if you like. Also, I hope you like the little plushie. I do have a couple of other books. Alright, give me 1 second, I'll go grab them. problem you have with LGR is that they've been buying up licenses and taking all exclusivity. Not just America. Yeah, I mean, it's the problem a lot of us have. Hey, to help you keep this the same. So, I've got three Sonic books. You want to know what's funny? That I've just noticed. Do you want to know what's really funny? And I almost fell over picking up the books. Take a guess. I can't believe this. They're written by the same guy who wrote the Gex book, Michael Tellenbaum. It's got Michael Tellenbaum, and it's Troll. It's Troll Associates. These are written by the same guy. I didn't even know that. Yeah, Michael Tellenbaum. On the back it says Troll Associates. I didn't even know that. Fuck it all, that's so weird. I'll take a photo. I'll show you guys in the Discord so you can see them. Okay? So let me put them beside each other. I'll put it in the peep chat so you guys can see it. And then I'll read you the backs so you can see. But just to show you that there is the name on there too. That's so weird. Maybe he like got the license for these. Maybe that was his thing. Alright, I'll put it in peep chat so you peeps can see it. There you go. So, we've got Sonic's Friend or Foe. This book costs $3. It's still got the price tag on the back. Sonic the Hedgehog has made a new friend, someone who says he wants to help Sonic in his struggle against Dr. Robotnik, but Sonic's old friend thinks there's something strange about this newcomer. Wonder if he really is a friend or foe. The next one is Sonic the Hedgehog, Robotnik's Revenge. So this one's kind of got a mix between the game art and Robotnik from the Goofy one. This one is the Sat AM, same with this one. But they use the Goofy one in the corner. So, Robotnik's Revenge. This was also $3. Sonic, the world's fastest hedgehog, is back, but the evil Dr. Robotnik has come up with a terrible plan. Robotnik has captured one of Sonic's best friends, and now Sonic must try to rescue her. But is Sonic falling into a carefully laid trap? Get ready for Sonic's most exciting adventure yet. And then we got Fortress of Fear. Those books... I took care of a lot of my books. I take care of a lot of stuff as a kid. Like, I was rarely... The only thing I ever did that I regret was earlier on I had a Sonic file. And you know you had the hole punches in the file? Earlier on, when I was collecting Sonic comics as a kid, I used to hole punch the comics and put them in the file. And even though I'm like, yeah, like, as a kid I didn't know any better. So for like 50 to 60 comics, I used to, I hole punched them and put them in this Sonic the Hedgehog binder. But, you know, I've kind of grown past that now because I'm just like, whatever. Like, it was just me being a kid. Like, I know some people that threw out full games and stuff. Fortress of Fear. Sonic the Hedgehog is searching for something hidden in an ancient fortress. Unfortunately, the evil Dr. Robotnik is looking for it too. If Robotnik finds it first, he can rule the entire planet. In this story, Sonic faces his greatest challenge. Can Sonic solve the mystery in time? That was also $3. How long are these books? So this one is... Oh, look, it's got a little picture in the back. A little picture. I forgot about this. So this one's 60. Gex was like 80 pages. That one's 60. This is 60. It's available wherever you buy books. And then I assume this is 60 as well. This one feels thicker. 63. Oh, on the back, it's got a little thing right here. Win a Sonic game. See back of book for details. And it's got a little form in the back, and it says, "Do you want to win a Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Arcade? If you like Sonic the Hedgehog book, you'll love your own Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Arcade." What is the Pocket Arcade? I wonder if it was just those LCD Tiger Electronic things. Maybe that's what it was. I wonder if that's what it was. Bent them and they got ratty because they're all about money. Yeah, so he struggles to get them, yeah. Yeah, these would be really... It's cool because these have all got pictures in them too. So every few every few pages, there's some bangers in here. I don't know how many of these books they did though. For the Sonic one, I don't think they did too many. Is there like a list? Oh, here we go. Pocket arcades are the little Tiger handhelds with the flip. I don't have the flip cover ones. I've got the Tiger electronic ones. Okay, so I think I'm only missing one of these books. What the fuck is this? Oh, he dedicated the book. Okay. There's one book missing, and the book is literally just called Sonic the Hedgehog. I've got the other three, though. So, yeah. We could definitely do a night. If you want, I can read them. If you really want me to. And we could make it like, I don't know, immersive if you like. You know, I could put some music on, or definitely a different type of stream, for sure. But yeah, did you all enjoy that? Did you have fun? Apparently, it put Moomin to sleep. Oh shit! Look at hell. I'm gonna have to look up this guy now, because now I want to know. Like, if he wrote all of these books, like, oh man, I wonder how ratty they're gonna be. Damn, son. That's crazy. Well, there you go. Ooh. Well, I just want to remind everybody, tomorrow there's no stream. I won't be here. But you will be able to see me in a like a week or so. I'll do the bonus stream, the late Halloween costume. My voice was relaxing. I don't know about... I mean, I guess for me, I don't think so. But there's a lot of people that I guess, like... I listen to people read and talk and fall asleep too. So yeah, I take it as a compliment, so thank you. I'll be uploading the VOD too, so if anyone wants to see the VOD, I'll probably upload it within a day. And then yeah, we can do more. I've got... I don't know if I've got any other books. I don't think... I'd have to have a look. But as a kid, I only really got the Sonic ones. But I'm wondering if maybe they did any other ones for kids' games. I don't think Mario or anything. He would have had to have got a serious life. I can't believe that this guy wrote the same ones. It's hanging out with the shades. Yeah, well, you just missed a really good stream, Priscillion. We read the Gex novelization. We read the whole book. Which... Aw, thank you, Moomin. It's something that won't be playable if the internet goes away. Can't wait for the Sonic books. Yeah, I think we'll do like... I'll probably do a thing where like I'll do them like over the course of a week or something. Like I'll read it like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday or something. and then that way I can just like kind of knock them in 1 week, because otherwise setting up the camera again to do it, you know, like, I mean, all of that and the music, like, it's not really what I would normally do. So this is very different content. Also, I apologize if the webcam looks like a little bit crusty. You know, I've tried to zoom it in a little bit, but again, scuff from yesterday. So, and I'll be sure to upload all the Terry videos that I did for you guys a few days ago, including the one that we did for Priscillion, which he'll love. Yeah. And yeah, I'm open to suggestions if there's stuff that you want me to read or like to go through. You know, I can show you. I've got some other Sonic comic books, like some other. I've got another. Is it like I think it's like a hard case book or something. Maybe I have to check. I can't see it from here because there's like a bookshelf in the way. But I'm wondering, like, there might be some that I could read as well. So, anyway, tomorrow is my anniversary, so I'm taking it off, and then I will be back. But in about 8 hours, you guys will be able to get a hold of Smiler's Den Deluxe, which comes out. There are 6 books in total. Oh, nice. I have to see if I can get the other 3. Because again, as a kid, I only thought there was 3. So, it wasn't something I was looking at, you know? Yeah. One of those called Sonic Extreme. That would be bang. I bet you that one's worth a fair bit, for sure. Yeah. What do you reckon, Gex? He's just T-posing over there. Look at him. He's just T-posing. By the way, I just want to say, like, I legitimately did mean it when I said I have enjoyed streaming the past 30 days. Like, it's been really fun. So, we've managed to finish a lot of games. And during that time, we built a game, which is coming out next month. You'll be able to play Terry Eats Us. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that's happened over this month. I got a lot off my list too. I beat a lot of games. Hung out with you guys. Ate nachos for a month. Put on a bit of weight. I needed it though. Can't be honest with you. Like, I would try not to make it too. You know, the last few months have been really rough. So this marathon has been the only thing that I've been certain about, where every time I turn on the computer, I hit stream, it works. From the Visa MasterCard shit happening, from having to sort out builds for cart or like working on other things, like all of that stuff that has blown up in our face and we've been working our asses off, this has been the most certain thing. And almost, even though it has made me tired, in a really good way, it's been therapeutic for me to stream every day, because it's been cool. Like, I've genuinely enjoyed streaming every day. And to just hang out with you guys and to chat. And even though there's only a few of you in here, like, I was telling my partner, I don't really care about how many people are here. Because for me, I'm doing this, like, I'm just doing it to chill out. So, like, the fact that there's only a couple people here watching me read a book, like, you know, so it means a lot, and to do the stream. And I do apologize that tomorrow's stream will be delayed as the bonus stream, but I will pick a day for the bonus stream. so you guys can look forward to it. Because we're already deep in the weeds as well of like the new cart build, flambeau, all of that other stuff. We've got a lot cooking. We've got a lot going on, so really enjoy. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. I really enjoyed hanging out with all of you, and like it's funny, like these streams to me have been good to create some really good memories and just like have good chats. And oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we've been married 6 years. So yeah, our 6th anniversary. So really excited. So yeah, it's been really good. So thank you all for being here. I hope that the wrap of the Gex book, but you will get cosplay me coming, cosplay Halloween me coming. So it's just gonna be late because can't put the anniversary aside. can't move that. So anyway, probably gonna call it, but I hope y'all have had fun. And look, I hope you had fun. I love you, peeps. And I will see you later. I'm going to go have a midnight snack, which is going to be nachos. Nah, I'll probably just go to bed. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'll talk to you all later. Oh, yeah, I'll talk to you all later. Yeah, I was going to say something else, but no. Love you, peeps. Catch you later. Bye-bye.